Good morning, everybody. What's going on? Welcome back to Movie Mornings. I am your host, Don Martino, of course, and today we got a lot to talk about. We got a couple of assault things we got to talk about, which never happens in the same week. Like two things of assault, and we also have Moon Knight. That's the big one. That's the fun one. Can't wait to get into that. That finally premiered on Disney Plus. We've all been waiting. Excited to talk about Moon Knight. Got a lot of thoughts on it. But anyway, before we get started, please hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel, leave feedback in the comment section, share this with your friends, hit that bell for notifications. Sitting with me, of course, is Mr. Jose Espinel. What's up, Jose? Sorry. No, you know what I was going to say, because I never look over at you when I have the intro playing. Today I decided to, and your head's just bobbing away. I love it. I love the energy. So.
It's a good intro song, bro. Yeah. It is, yeah. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to get into some of the stuff we have to talk about here. Obviously, like Dom said, there's some assault charges here that usually doesn't happen.
Never.
That doesn't, especially not these many in 1 week. So I'm excited to get into this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, especially like stuff like this that like affects the industry. I've never seen so much shit in 1 week. You know what I mean? It's like it affects the things we're going to be watching and affects the industry. But hey, we're here. We're going to talk about it. But also sitting with me is Mr. David Tresch. Dave, how's it going?
Dave? I am great, Dom. How are you guys doing?
We're doing all right, man. I think. I'll tell you, I'm pissed off about the gas prices right now. I'm just gonna start there because they're up to like $4.50 where I'm at, and it's like getting ridiculous. Like $4.50 per gallon, it's ridiculous. And I gotta fill up like every 3 days, and then on top of that, I gotta go to McDonald's or wherever I'm going. I guess I don't have to. I could choose to, I could choose to get groceries, and then grocery prices are going up. So it's like you can't win really, because you go to McDonald's and dude. Okay, so I was at McDonald's today, right? And like, I'll tell you what, I was sitting in line behind 3 different cars, and it was taking forever. Just 3 cars ahead of me. That's not that bad usually. And I just wanted a Big Mac. I haven't had one in fucking forever, and I wanted one. And I have 3 cars ahead of me, and it took. I mean, you guys tell me, fast food terms, do you think it's outrageous that it took 15 minutes for 3 cars, or do you think that I mean?
That's a pretty long time.
Unless
somebody had a van full of kids in there, unless someone got real specific with their orders or they were out of everything, that's pretty slow.
And then I come around the curve and I'm getting up to the window, and the part that was taking the longest wasn't even the food. It was the first window with the change. They were taking forever to give back change. That was what was taking forever. Not the food. Everybody who went up to that window
Someone didn't know how to count
immediately. Exactly. And that's what's irritating is I'm noticing they are hiring people that don't know how to count. I don't know if anybody's like had this experience at a drive-through or at a grocery store or wherever. The service industry is getting really bad. And I don't know. I can go ahead.
For me, what really kills me is just the simple fact of, since everything went so automated during COVID, there's a huge loss of customer service. So like, if you do want to go into somewhere like McDonald's, which I gave up a while ago for some news headlines that they put up and some moral reasons, as well as it's just healthier, obviously. But when I would go in there, it's like, you go up to the counter to try to get service and they're like looking at you funny. It's like, hey, I need my order taken care of. And sometimes they put in the machines and it's like, yeah, the machine is not working. None of your machines are working. So can I talk to someone and put in this order?
Yes.
And they help out 50 people in the drive-thru before they even look at you. And then also by me is they have cash only, like half the time they like, or, their system's down or whatever, and it's cash only. They never put up a freaking sign. So you end up waiting behind like 20 freaking cars and keep seeing people pull off. And then when you finally get up there, like 20 minutes later, they're like, oh, we're cash only, by the way. It's like, put a sign on a freaking cone and Sharpie it so that people know that, asshole.
100%. And, I rarely go to fast food anymore or McDonald's or anything. When I go to McDonald's is when I want a fucking milkshake. You know what they don't have when I go to McDonald's?
Milkshakes.
Yes, exactly. Every single time.
Always down.
Is anybody else having this problem? Down. Like, it's always down. Every single time.
I was about to say, I feel like in every single state, that machine's just always down. Like, because the one in Atlanta, the ones like near my house, they also just like the machine's like never working. But I guess the ones around my house are different. Like, what takes long isn't the cars to get through. It's most of the time, like if I'm going inside because I don't feel like doing drive through because I know how long that shit takes now in like McDonald's and Chick-fil-A's and stuff like that.
And you
is
work
I'll go.
there. No, I couldn't go. I don't know where you work. I don't remember.
No,
I do. I'm just not gonna say it on air. But,
I do. I'll drop the address right now. He's over it.
No, but what takes long isn't.
Yeah, I meant
like
to tell you I wanted to order a pizza while you were here, Jose, just so you, if you can get it ready for me, that'd be great.
Yeah, if I start it now, I'll get there at like like the next day. No, but like what used to take long was getting my food. Get my food being prepared and given to me, because they would like attend the drive-through like 10 drive-through people before getting the food to me, which was like something that really pissed me off. Yeah. So, and the worst part is too is that their minimum wage at McDonald's near my houses are starting at $15 an hour, which is ridiculous, because I was getting paid less at Publix. I was getting paid less than them, which is crazy. I mean,
yeah, well, they're not paying them enough. They're not paying anybody enough to, even want to join the service industry. Not to mention, you make more on unemployment anymore. Really, you do, or they did, for a long time.
They still probably do.
Still probably do. And even
They're
if they
still
don't,
probably better getting cash jobs, is what I hear people are doing. Is they just go get cash jobs, and then that way you get unemployment. You're not technically working, and then you're like doubling the income over even like McDonald's. But
and you don't have to pay taxes.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Like sort of like because I used to work construction in Columbus when I used to live there for high school. I used to just every summer I used to work there, and it was just so much easier because I didn't have to pay taxes, because you get paid under the table. And so I might just have to go back to that, because at this point
IRS is listening.
I know, right?
They probably are.
They said, "GG, Jose, I got you now, buddy."
No, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck anymore.
They really don't.
They're
honestly,
done. Yeah. No, they don't care
they really
anymore.
don't give a fuck.
No, deadlines are, forget about them. We don't care when you pay your taxes. Get them into us when you can. And that's the IRS, man. But no, it's pissing me off, because it's like every time I try to go anywhere, it's like I have to end up with a bum worker, a bum employee. Did anybody watch the new Aziz Ansari special where he was talking about those? He said, like, you can't say anymore that there's no such thing as a non-skilled worker. Like, there is such thing as a skilled worker, and people like, the other part of it is, like, I don't know what kind of jobs you guys have worked in your day, but like for me, like anytime I've worked a job in the service industry, the supervisors were the shittiest people. Who wants to work for that? You know what I mean? When you're working hard and they're still shitty to you, like, I don't know if you guys have had that experience, but that's been me in jobs.
Yes.
Yeah.
As I say, that's why I don't work in the service industry anymore. I've worked with too many shitty supervisors and like managers and assistant managers that I've just, at this point, I've been like, fuck it. I don't need this in my life.
Yeah.
I can find, some other way to make my money in somewhere where I'll actually enjoy myself.
It's simple. Just be fucking nice. You'll get people to work for you, because the thing is that word spreads, because you can ask like tons of people who worked in those jobs, like, should I go work here? And they'll tell you, no, the supervisor's shitty. The pay is shit for what you do. So it's just like, I don't understand why we're still living in a world where people are not well compensated. Like, I understand the economy's bad, but it's not like, but the funny part about it is the economy gets bad, and what it forces these businesses to do is to raise their wages, and that's what's ridiculous to me about it. Is it's like, that's something we should have been doing a long time ago. Number one is raising the wages. They're still not high enough, if you ask me, but especially with the economy going down, but it's just ridiculous, but and then the other thing that pisses me off on the other side of it are the fucking bums. There's plenty of fucking work out there, and like, I don't want to talk on my personal life, but I've been dealing with I've had a lot of experience recently with people who just don't have money. I would just say that, or complain about not having money. And there's plenty of fucking work out there. Go get a job. You know what I mean? And like, I'm not talking about like struggling. If you're struggling, that's a real thing, financially. Like, there's real financial struggles, but I'm talking about the types of people that claim they have no way of making money ever, and to me, that's like ridiculous too, because everybody's fucking hiring,
Yeah, those are the lazy fuckers.
Yeah.
That don't want to get out there.
I have at at the mall where we got our escape room, there's a guy and he is physically disabled, and he goes around in his e-scooter and he delivers food to everyone in the mall.
Yeah.
And the fact that this guy, who obviously his parents take really good care of him, he doesn't have to work a day in his life, but even he is so not lazy and motivated to get on his scooter and go around the mall all day long and try to deliver food because it gives him a sense of purpose.
Yeah.
I think people don't have a sense of purpose, and this is one of the things where I kind of agree with you. I'm not trying to get into a debate about it, but
No.
One of the problems I have with them constantly raising the wages at places like McDonald's is that you lose the sense of one of the good things of capitalism, whether you like it or not, which is that good people get fairly compensated for working hard, and all the bums at jobs don't. And then you get people where, like back in the day, people at McDonald's that would work hard would get the promotions, get the extra money, but now they're making just as much as the bums that are getting it day one.
By all
and
means,
don't do
I
shit
agree
for
with
work.
that. You're right, and that is a serious problem. It's you know what I mean? It's like I understand like raising the wages to some degree because there's a wage you have to, there's a certain amount you have to make to survive. So to that degree, I do think so that you need to raise the wages. But then there is the degree of we're getting these bummy people who are getting it off easy, you know, like I was just bitching about all these bummy service workers who are getting paid a lot and they can't fire them because they're not going to get anybody else in. And it's really, really difficult, you know, to like.
Well, at the same time, too, I wish there was like a lower minimum wage for certain instances. Because I will say, what I was going to say was, I worked in the service industry for so long when I was growing up, and I really wanted to work. When I was a kid, man, I started working at like 13 years old at my local church, making, you know, like $50 a week just because I wanted to work. I like to work. And the best job I ever had after working at like these world-renowned ice cream places to, you know, pizzerias and stuff. The best place I worked at was just Park District, where I ran the scores of basketball games and got hella hours, but didn't get paid as well. And I stayed there longer than like any other job in high school, just because, like, listen, it's fair that this is $9 an hour work. I'm sitting here running a scoreboard and watching basketball.
There are times
I love this.
Yeah, there are definitely times where you can find like work that's like you're being fairly compensated for, but usually it's on the lower scale, and that's the problem too. Like $9 an hour, like you were saying. But like to me, like the bigger problem I think is the fact that you're saying like, yes, the good people should be the ones that are more compensated, but that's not what's happening either on the same hand. So you could start the wage at one point on the off chance that you're a bum, but I think that the what's the time frame I should say that you got to be at a place before you get a raise should be shorter, you know, because a lot of these places only give out like what 25 cent raises per year. That's ridiculous too. If you're a good worker, then you deserve a lot more. If you're,
oh my gosh, can I just go on a rant about that too?
Yeah,
because I worked at Publix for like I worked at Publix for like 8 months. Not once did I get a raise.
Right.
Not once in those 8 months did I ever get a raise.
Well, let me ask you a question though. Did you ever ask for a raise?
Yes, once.
Okay, and they said no.
Yes.
What was the reasoning?
They said Jose's trash. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just trying to find out. Like I'm trying to get somewhere, I guess. With
so because this, you know, this is where I think my problem was, is that I tried to ask for a raise from my old my new assistant manager, who I think absolutely hated my guts. I don't know why. I didn't like that new assistant manager that came through either. But I mean, I had no choice because my old assistant manager left when I was only working there for like 2 months, so I didn't want to ask for a raise then. Yeah. And so she had left and she was promoted to manager at a different Publix, and so I had to ask my new assistant manager for a raise, and I feel like she had it out for me. And so when I tried to ask for a raise, she said, "No, I can't give it to you. I need to see more from you." I was like, "Look, lady, I come here and I've opened for you so many weeks. I've closed for you so many weeks.
I hate that.
I have a disability that renders it harder for me to put in as much work as other people." I mean, I understand that's not really that much of an excuse, but it really did like put a toll on my diabetes. Like I would, my sugar levels would like go super low to the point where I had to like take longer breaks in between my shifts. Like while I was still working, not during my breaks, but while I was still working, I had to take breaks and like eat like a little candy bar or something. And so it just really pissed me off, the fact that I not once did they even approach me to give me a raise because of how much work I was actually putting in.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
No, I mean, I think that's bullshit too, because I've been there where I put in the extra time, I put in the extra hours, you know, I opened however many days that they needed me to, and nothing. You would go ask, and they'd say, and that was their only answer. Oh, we need more from you. What? What do you need from me? What am I doing differently that somebody else who Joe Schmo who makes $20 an hour, is doing?
I really wish that she would have told me what it was that she needed more from me, because I honestly couldn't think of anything more that I could have done, because I was doing basically every single thing possible you could think of that I would like, because I was just working in the deli section.
Yeah.
So there's not much you can really do in the deli section.
Yeah.
So it's like, what more do you want from me to get a raise? I mean, I understand I was starting at 13 an hour, which I mean isn't the best, but it's not the worst either.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, for Christ's sake, I worked there for like 8 months. I couldn't have gotten raised at least like once or twice.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy.
I said that to a manager. I was like, I don't think that I'm doing anything differently than Joe Schmo who makes $20 an hour is doing. Then I found out the Joe Schmo had been there for 20 years, and I felt like a real dick. But but still, like, on the same hand though, it's like, I work harder than everybody in I'm talking about a grocery store here too. In this instance, I work harder than everybody in my department. Like I put in more time, more work than everybody in my department.
That's why I think, because the Publix I used to work at when we had the old assistant manager, there were so many people working there in my daily section, and then as soon as the old assistant manager left and we got the new one, so many people started getting fired or quit. More people quit than getting fired, and I think it was because people weren't happy with her. That I guess other people were asking for raises as well. They didn't get it, and so like a lot of people were just quitting, and then it came to the point where like there was only two or three of us in a day working the deli when it'd be really busy and it'd just be too much for us. And so at that point I was like, you know what, fuck it, I don't need this.
I had the same damn thing at a grocery store where our staff got lower than because of just people quitting. You know what I mean? Like we were way short because of people quitting, and it was ridiculous. Yeah,
mine too. Yeah, it was crazy.
Do you guys have Jewel Osco by you, or do you have Publix?
I don't even know what
Dom or Jose.
Is.
I think he said Dom.
I said Dom.
I have Kroger. Is what I have. I don't know if you know of Kroger.
You don't have Jewel or Publix?
No, I don't have Jewel or Publix. It's Kroger here. Okay. Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say, which is my message to anyone listening about the whole
Kroger
topic,
Payless.
I used to work at Jewel Osco, which is basically like Publix for the Midwest. Back when I lived in Chicago, and one of the worst things that these companies have is as they get bigger, which like Publix and these companies aren't as big as like Amazon. I'm not trying to totally trash them here, but one of the things that they do is that they work in a way of which it's not really about the effort and the work that you put in so much as it is how long you've been there. And so it was like, I remember back when I was in high school, I got this job at 16, 17 years old. I would stock and face the roughest, like 8 aisles that there was. I'm talking all the cans, jars, pastas. And then there was like a 40-year-old dude who would just do like, the paper towels, the toilet paper, the easiest stuff to stock, and he'd get like 3 aisles done. And one of the things that I asked the manager after 6 months of working there is like, listen, I've been killing myself, working hard for you guys. I've taken up a lot of responsibilities I don't have to. I'd like to know when I can and how I can negotiate a raise. And he just looked at me and goes, oh, you're in a union. And I was like, so when can I negotiate a raise? And he was just like, well, it's not really based on how hard you work. It's more based on how long you're here. And that's why like this guy, Chris, that I love, no offense to him, but he's like a 40-year-old dude who takes care of 2 or 3 aisles is making bank. And I'm just sitting there on nothing. And I'm like, so I can just keep kicking ass and it doesn't make a difference what my work output is. I'm just going to be stuck here. And they're like, yeah, well, I mean, you might be more prone to promotions in like a few years. Like, few years? What? Who wants to work here? No way, not a chance.
Exactly.
And so what I'll tell people is if you don't like these places like McDonald's and the way that they run and stuff, one of the things that you could do, one of the things that I look for when I know that we're hiring is I go to places like Little Caesars that I know are garbage to their employees. And I try to find great candidates and poach them when I know we're hiring. And I'll go in there and see someone with great enthusiasm and be like, hey, you know what? I run the escape room down the street. Why don't you, here's my number. Give me a call. Let me take you off Little Caesars hands because obviously they're not treating you right. So if you're watching this, go to your local pizzerias, local restaurants, go patronize them because the more busy you make them, the more people they need to hire, and they're going to go out of their way to hire competent people over these huge companies that don't really give a crap and are just trying to fill slots as fast as possible.
Yeah, well,
this is why I
thank you. Well, really quick though, thank you for ranting, Dave, so Jose can go take a piss there. Anyway, sorry.
No problem. I got you.
No, I was gonna say that's the reason why I'm now in an acting school because I just can't with these service industries and I just I just prefer to now be in acting. I mean, that's why I'm in this acting school, and I can't wait to graduate from the school and finally get some acting jobs because I know it'll be a lot more fun than working at these service industries like Publix. And I mean, I know we have in Domino's, for example, too. I only worked there for like 3 months, but either way, like the pay was just was not worth the amount of miles I was putting in driving, and the amount of work I was having to put in. So
and they really need like better. There are people that work these jobs and slave away and they struggle because their boss, whatever, their idiot corporate whatever ruling is saying that they can't get a raise in 4 years, like Dave was just saying. Like there needs to be better outreach for people too, like in terms of just like counseling and things, because people really are struggling in these jobs. And the sad part is like some of these people, like honestly, like they could go somewhere else, but they're working their way through school or what, you know what I mean? Like so they could really only work these low end jobs, you know what I mean? And so like they can't get promotions. There just needs to be better outreach, like somebody you could talk to. Like I know that like when I worked for a grocery store, they had a human resources department, but really they don't do shit, and like I'm being honest, like I'm not trying to like bash anybody who wants to get into human resources, but 9 times out of 10 human resources departments don't do shit. Like I'm being honest with you. You can go to them all you want, but they won't help you, and there needs to be better outreach for like stressed out fucking employees too. Like I'm not saying that like, and now like there are a lot of times like, to Dave's kind of earlier point, there are like stressed out employees because they're making it hard on themselves. They're shitty ass employees. They're lazy and they're putting that on themselves. There's a lot of times like, that people are stressing themselves out, but people put in the effort day to day and just get treated like shit over it. That there needs to be outreach for that. Like I don't know.
That was me. Like I said, when I worked at Publix, I was putting my all into the job, and the assistant manager, I don't know why, for some reason, just I felt like she had it out for me. I don't know why. I remember one time it was something as silly as because I was wearing this bracelet that they wanted me to take off, but I didn't want to take it off because it was personal to me, and they understood that, but they still made me take it off. And so like it was silly stuff like that. Like she just had it out for me, and so I just didn't want to take it anymore, so I just left.
And there are times too where you get put in like really shitty spots. Like you might be making really good money at a job, and like everything's going fine. There was this girl, I did work at Walmart for a little bit, and there was a girl there that I got placed with for like a week to work with, and I didn't mind doing anything they asked me to do. It wasn't the workload. My experience at Walmart, and I've heard a lot of shitty things, my experience at Walmart was really good. It was one of the better jobs I had. I just wasn't making enough, but the experience with working with the people was fantastic. Like I loved everybody there, and I got placed in a position where I had to work with somebody for a week, and I knew the second I saw this woman, her and I weren't getting along, and like I knew it. Like I knew she was going to be a bitch, and straight up she was. And she wasn't my boss or supervisor, but she was my team member in this project that we were doing, and I couldn't work with her because whatever the fuck, she was hard to work with. Anytime you asked her something, she was shitty about it. You know what I mean? She had more experience than me given. And so I would try to ask questions and take initiative. And I told the manager this, is like, I'm here to learn. I'm here to ask questions, get initiative. It's just my personality. When I get teamed up with somebody, I want to learn from them. You know what I mean? Like if somebody has more experience than I do, I recognize that and I want to learn from them. And if I'm put on a team, I want to, work proactively with the team member, not work counteractively. And I told the manager this, and he said, well, you're just gonna have to get used to her personality. What kind of fucking shit is that? No, it's this person is not a team member, which is what you call us, team members, and that's not what she's being. That's not a team.
Teammate.
It doesn't work. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, by the way, you said something really important there, Dom, to anyone that's watching this and is maybe struggling with their job or looking to get a better job. One of the best things you could do, which is what my really awesome older brother taught me, was if you don't know something, don't lie about it. Ask, or more importantly,
listen.
If you're in an interview, just know that every answer you give should actually relate to the job or interview. They don't actually care so much about your home life other than how it may affect work.
That's very true.
They don't really give a shit. And two, and this is what got me the gig that I'm at now, which I absolutely love and I'll die doing, and got me all my jobs, is if someone says, hey, do you know how to use tools? If I wanted you to make that 8-piece cube organizer, could you do it? Your answer is, you know what? No, I don't know how to do it, but I'd be interested to learn it. If that's what you want me to do, I will figure out what I have to do and I will learn how to do it. I will learn how to use tools. I'm very handy with, doing this or that in the past. Relate to it and let them know, you know what? No, I can't do it, but I'd like to learn.
Exactly. Listen,
show
learn,
interest,
ask, you know what I mean? And like, that's true. And that's something I've learned through my many, years of working experience. I'll say this, I'm not a very talented man or good at anything, but one thing I've always been great
at. The voice of a god.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But one thing I've always been great at is interviews. I've crushed interviews my whole life. And a lot of it is actually, this applies to that too. A lot of it is just listening. Listen to the question. And you can actually hear in the inflection of the voice what they're looking for. And I've always crushed in interviews because of it. Like, I never lied, but I've skewed the truth, and sometimes you got to do that just to get your foot in the door. It's all about getting your foot in the door. And once your foot's in the door, you're good. You're good to go. You're golden. And then you can ask questions. Then you can learn all these different traits. I've had shitty ass fucking jobs, but I have learned a lot about just living from those jobs and a lot about being broken down sometimes is the best for you. You need to be broken down a little bit, and so look, I don't want to switch gears from this, but I kind of do.
Which, by the way, to people watching, wondering how this relates, when I'm trying to go into Publix and get some candy to buy there, because I'm obviously not going to pay $30 at the movie theater to buy candy and sneak it in. I need these dipshits to hurry up, okay? I'm running late and I got to be there in 20 minutes. Let's go. Get the line moving.
Exactly. You got a movie to catch. Yeah, thanks for that segue. Speaking of movies.
No problem.
Speaking of movies, exactly.
I couldn't think of a better one, so thank you. Speaking of movies, we do have some movies that, we've been watching. Like, Jose especially, not really me. Like, I think the one that you and I could talk about together, like, Jose, is probably King Richard. Because you and I both finally saw that before the ceremony the other day. Dude, King Richard is the shit, man. Look, that was we'll get to Will Smith later, so we're not going to talk about that aspect of it yet. But Will Smith in this movie, he's a very good performer. He's awesome. I loved everything he did in this movie. It is his career best performance, and man, 100%. He's so good.
He killed it. Honestly, I was not expecting this from Will Smith.
Yeah.
He absolutely surprised the hell out of me, and he gave, like you said, his career best performance. It was phenomenal. Yeah. I really, really enjoyed King Richard. Every single bit of the movie. John Berthal, I really enjoyed him too as that pro tennis coach. Rick Macy.
Amazing.
It's great too.
Yeah. Sometimes you're watching a movie like that and you understand why it got made. Like, there are some stories that need to be told, you know what I mean? Like,
and the story of really more Venus and Serena was a really good one to do.
Yeah, I think like it's a completely different type of movie, but like in terms of true story movies, like the last time I was watching one like this where I just felt like it was so necessary to be made, was probably like Wolf of Wall Street. Like when I was watching Wolf of Wall Street, it's like that story was necessary to be told. That's a true story that the world needs to know. That's not really as out there as not that you can't find this information, but a lot of people don't know about it. And that's why I loved about like King Richard, for example, is like a lot of people don't know about that story, and it's one that needed to be told and just so good, and so honoring really of the real events, and just that's why I love so much about it. But the portrayal was great. I didn't know, Dave, if you actually got a chance to see King Richard yet. Did you check it out?
No, I didn't. I didn't get to watch it yet. I will now to see if Will Smith smacks anyone else in there. But I'm going to get around to watching that one for sure. And then more importantly, I did want to say I did kind of make that list you asked me to do for the best 10 movies of 2021.
Yeah, so I was going to.
Whenever you guys are repped out on that.
Yeah.
So I decided to only pick movies that like were not Oscar talks, by the way. So just know that there are movies that were in the Oscars that would be on my list, but I purposely didn't include them because people have heard that too much. So I purposely went out of my way to get movies that wouldn't be ever included in Oscars, for instance, because they're maybe in the horror genre or something. So they'd never be nominated for anything, but are still great movies.
So top 10. So let's call the list this: top 10 movies you should have watched in 2021.
There you go.
You know, like that
go.
you probably
Yeah.
didn't watch but should watch. Like that's probably maybe a better way to put it. But yeah,
Yes.
go ahead, man. If you got it on you, do you need?
Oh,
a minute
okay,
to get
gotcha.
it?
Yeah, no, got it right here.
Sweet.
Just to let you know, this is not in order by any means. It's really hard for me to pick order because like where I'm going to put one over the other is tough for me. But nonetheless, very good. I'll start with what was my favorite one for sure, the number one slot, and that is Wrath of Man, which I really liked. For an action movie, it was so great. Caught me off guard because at first, like 20 minutes in, I was like, man, I already know everything about this movie. I don't know why I'm still watching this and why this is happening. This seems like a senseless movie. And then it started to unravel the different point of views and all the missing information as it got really freaking interesting and time went on. It was a great revenge story.
Massive Guy Ritchie fan as a director. I want to see this one, and I need to watch it. You're right.
Bro, honestly,
if you haven't seen it, amazing.
Honestly, phenomenal. I love Jason Statham. It was one of my favorite performances from him. Honestly.
My favorite since the Transporter, like Cranker.
Yeah,
I mean, it was great. I'd say it's probably one of his best performances yet. And his character is just so unassuming at first. He almost seems like dull. And then as time goes on, you realize who he is, and it's like, oh shit, this is rough. You guys pissed off the wrong dude. Great revenge story. So that one's number one for me. Number two would be Halloween Kills. Just recently got into the horror genre. Loved Halloween Kills. Yep. Especially because this one, going into it, I actually didn't realize that this movie took place immediately after the last one. So I was so happy when I went to watch the movie, and I was like, oh shit, this is picking off right where it left off. I was like, I thought they were going to kind of do like a over the years span. I was like, it makes more sense that this guy wouldn't just get away with murdering people for several years on end. So nice, great. That was great. Killer performance on that, and I can't wait for Halloween Ends, which will wrap it up this year, I think. This
year, October, this Halloween,
Oh yeah. Next one is a Tom Clancy movie. I'm a big Tom Clancy fan in terms of writing.
Without Remorse?
His reading, Without Remorse was absolutely amazing.
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan, one of his best performances, blew it out of the water.
You need to, honestly, Amazon Prime. It's on Amazon Prime. You need to watch it.
I'll check it out.
It's a good watch.
Another Amazon Prime movie, another Amazon Prime original that I found fun. I don't think it was the most amazing movie ever.
I know where you're going. Is it Tomorrow War?
Yes, it is.
All right.
Yes, it is.
It was a fun movie. It
was a fun movie. It was good.
I haven't seen it either.
There's some stupid plot holes, but then again, these guys like the sequel, so I know I'm not going to get any shit from them about it.
No, I'm not going to get shit.
That was killer. Next one, very unassuming again, Nobody.
Yes, Nobody was amazing.
I have not seen that yet.
You got to watch Nobody, man.
If you like John Wick, man, you'll love this. A very John Wick-esque shooting of it and storytelling.
Nobody was amazing.
In its very own way. And I forget the actor's name, but he plays Doc in the Back to the Future, and he's the main character's dad, Bob's dad.
Christopher Lloyd, who just got cast.
Yes, Christopher Lloyd. Absolutely freaking amazing. Christopher Lloyd's performance of this is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
His pure happiness for violence in this movie is amazing. Like every vet that wanted to go to Vietnam in this movie, he's crazy, man.
So true.
Excellent right there. The next two are slow burners from the same director, which I didn't even realize at first. And then somebody told me, hey, do you like slow burning movies? I was like, oh, that's by the same director. Okay. Is The Last Duel and House of Gucci. Absolutely loved both of those. The Last Duel is a little bit disappointing in terms of like the action sequences were so amazing. I wish I got like 15 minutes more of them. They were so good. Like, I wish it was more like Troy, where it's almost based around the action sequences from how good it is, but still an amazing story. And House of Gucci, no matter how much people are fixated on Lady Gaga's accent, she did an amazing job. So did Adam Driver. The whole cast on that one, Al Pacino, great performance, even Jared Leto. Again, just seeing who the hell he could play, that doesn't even make sense, where people won't recognize him. Amazing job on that one. So I know you guys haven't seen House of Gucci yet.
I haven't seen either. I haven't seen
Last Duel is really good. Last Duel really good. I need to watch House of Gucci.
Yeah, get to that one, man. Next would be Free Guy. I like this a lot because
Free Guy was nominated for an Oscar, Dave, so suck it.
I didn't say that none of these would be talked about at Oscars. I'm just saying nominated. Obviously, they're not going to let it win. You know, Oscars do that. That's why Leo finally got his for The Revenant instead of, the other 15 movies that should have won it.
It took long enough, right?
Yeah, right. That's my only problem with the Oscars. But yes, Free Guy. Absolutely great movie. The
yeah.
amount of people that told me that there was too much fan service in this, and then I went and saw it, and I was like, there was no fan service until like the final action sequence.
Yeah.
Like everything else about the movie was a very generic video game that they played out very well. I mean, not generic in a bad terms, but just meaning like they didn't pry and rely like Ready Player One did on just having a bunch of of their what do you call them, IPOs, properties,
NPCs
of using
NPCs.
No, that's not the word, but yeah.
What are you saying?
They're properties. They're the things that they own.
IPs,
Like
IPs,
instead of just putting
IPs.
IPs. Okay,
IPs.
I put no there for some reason. Yeah, they didn't just rely on their IPs. It was a great story, great movie. Loved it a lot, and of course, big shout out to the actress from both Free Guy and The Last Duel. I'm blanking on her name again.
Jodie Comer.
Jodie Comer coming out swinging.
Yeah.
She is so damn good. I couldn't even believe it was her in both of the movies.
In both films, she's
holy
great.
Shit,
Two
she's
very
the one
different
from
roles.
the other movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, two very different roles. Absolutely killed it. I almost didn't recognize her in the two different roles, and then I was like, looking at the credits, I was like, oh shit, that's the lady from that movie. She's great. Killing it this year, man. She's great. So yeah, Free Guy, excellent. Next one, this is an Oscar movie, Nightmare Alley. Just wanted to throw that in there because I was such a big fan of it.
I need to finish it. I'm happy.
I haven't even started it, so
it's a really good one. I like that a lot. Bradley Cooper is one of my favorite actors, so if his name is on it, I'm going to watch it. And then these last two are actually what I'd like to call dishonorable mentions.
Oh wow!
So the two worst movies.
I want to put some disrespect on these ones. I know this first one is controversial for you guys, but you're just playing wrong, so I don't mind saying it. It's the Eternals from Marvel. Very disappointing.
Okay.
Very disappointing.
Well, I love
same.
Big shout out to most of the actors and actresses that worked on this. I think they all did a stellar job. I think this was really a failure of the studio for not making this the first ever Disney Plus show that evolves into a fucking killer finale movie. I think they should have pulled a Breaking Bad on this one, started with a series where you get to introduce and fall in love with the characters, and then finish with a movie where you actually feel sad for Icarus's death the way that we felt bad when he died as Robb Stark. So that's my only critique of that one. I liked the idea of the Eternals. I just think execution on the actual studio's part was pretty poor in terms of the fact of the 10 main characters jammed in was way too much. We didn't get all three of the funniest characters on screen at the same time, which I wish we did. I know Gilgamesh is one of them. I'm slipping on all the names. Fastos is the other one that was hilarious.
And Kumail Nanjiani
exactly.
Yeah,
I wish that we would have had a amazing sequence with the three of them joking around because they were all hilarious throughout the movie. I did like that at least one of them were pretty much in there at all times to keep the movie really going in terms of the jokes. But again, I just think that this was a movie that had to have been a Disney Plus show and then a movie, and it would have killed it in that execution. And then lastly, dishonorable mention is Fast and Furious 9, F9, if you will.
F9 was bad. F9 was bad. I'm with you, bud.
That hurt, man. I love Fast and Furious and Too Fast, Too Furious so much. They're one of my girlfriend's favorite movies when I went back and showed her movies. So the fact that this is what they've devolved to, I still like Vin Diesel as a person, but
sure.
Yeah, what the hell, man?
That was bad. You're right. Yeah. You go back and watch my spoiler review for that, but that movie sucked. Oh my god.
It was bad.
Oh, that was
I left like 3 times for snacks. So that's a good indicator of how bad a movie sucks. When I'm like, dude, can I get a pizza so this doesn't suck so bad? Like I'm gonna try to muster through it, but
there was even a sequence that was filled with Star Wars references, and they annoyed me with them, like in that one sequence. And it's like, how do you manage to do that? Like,
how do you screw this up this bad?
Gosh, that movie was bad.
I will say at least Tyrese Gibbons, is that his name? And Ludacris.
Tyrese Gibbons.
Okay, Tyrese Gibbons and Ludacris. At least they still had like the repertoire, which is pretty good. Like they were really good at bullshitting back and forth. So that's the one thing that like actually did keep me from walking out is like every time they're on screen together, even if they're going to space, which is a stupid ass thing for the movie, they do make it fucking hilarious. So it's absolutely amazing. Most of the actors is what I'm realizing actually do a really great job in these movies. And it's just like the worst writing ever.
It's just the studio's part. Yeah, the studios kind of just fuck it up. Like you're right. I mean, Tyrese Gibbons and Ludacris's chemistry in basically every single Fast and Furious movie have just been amazing. They're chem together. They pop jokes all the time, and they're just hilarious.
Fast 5 is one of my favorites, where they get like to the cusp of being that's where they start getting to the cusp of like doing crazy shit, but everything is reasonable in that movie.
It's pretty
in
balanced.
terms of like
It's
what they're
balanced.
pulling. Like it's pretty
It's my
balanced
favorite
where
one too.
they're doing crazy shit, but like it makes sense. It's possible what they're doing, and it's a really damn funny movie. Between that, I think that maybe where they really start their chemistry together.
Yeah,
and that was just like one of the best movies outside of the original and Too Fast, Too Furious. Fast 5 killed it. F6 was okay, but Fast 5 was just absolutely killer because of their chemistry together.
I hate to break it to you today. I really hate Too Fast. I think that movie.
I was gonna say I really like what's it called? I like Tokyo Drift.
I like Tokyo Drift. It's
Tokyo
good.
Drift. Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah,
it's not like amazing. It's good.
I don't know if I can say what I want to say, so I'll just tell you. I hope you fucking stub your toe tonight.
I think that movie's a pile of dog shit. The first one I did rewatch before seeing F9. Man, that shit held up for me anyway. Like I don't know.
Oh yeah,
like, I don't know.
Like, so Fast Furious, man.
Yeah, it's good still.
Killer.
To me. Yeah.
Doesn't matter if by an inch or a mile. Any true racer will tell you, winning is winning.
I rewatched it in Ecuador, and oh my goodness gracious, man, that first one is it's so much fun.
Yeah,
honestly.
it's a fun little movie. I really love it still. Like for whatever reason, like that one still like speaks to me. And then like F9 was an excuse to bring John Cena into the ensemble. Not against John Cena, but just like that's what the movie was. It was an excuse to bring him in, and that was it. You know,
that was the reason I had so much doubt in Peacemaker was seeing him in that. I was like,
and I got annoyed every time. I had nothing against him; he's great as Peacemaker. You know, we're all good, but like I mean, like every time he went Dom, the way he said it, it was just like he had to say it like too hard ass, man. It's just like
speaking of jokes, I think one of my favorite jokes in all the Fast and Furious movies was the one of was it Dwayne Johnson with Tyrese Gibbons' characters, like when he was like, you better hide your baby oil, and he was like, you better hide that big ass forehead. And then literally that
great improvised line.
That was probably one of the best improvised lines. Honestly, like that shit was hilarious.
For sure.
That was like an actual laugh from Ludacris as well. I remember watching. It was like that wasn't fake. Like he actually like died laughing from that. Which is great.
Sure. You watched Belfast, didn't you, Jose?
I did finish it. Yes.
Yeah. Tell people about that really quick. How is
it? It was a cute little. I mean, I say cute, but I mean there is violence in quotation marks in this movie.
I was gonna say shit, wasn't that looked pretty violent from the trailer?
Yeah, no, but besides, I mean the violence in the movies they're just in certain scenes and they're not too long.
Gotcha.
So besides that, the movie in general as a whole is a pretty cute black and white movie. You know, it's the story of this kid, his life throughout this entire time living in Belfast, not having the most luxurious of lives. But no, I actually really enjoyed I'm starting to enjoy black and white movies a lot more, especially with this Belfast. It was a really good movie. Judi Dench was great. The kid was really, really good too. I really enjoyed his performance.
Was it from the kid's perspective?
It
was a movie.
Yes.
Okay, so when I ask this, I'll be very clear on what I'm trying to say. Was his perspective that of the Irish or the dirty Brits?
Of the Irish.
Okay, good. I'll watch this movie for sure.
Well, it's based on like a personal story from Kenneth Branagh, who wrote the script, which congratulations to him on the win for the original screenplay there. But which by the way, speaking of Kenneth Branagh directed films, Death on the Nile is on HBO Max now. I didn't know if you could get.
I still need to watch the first one. I need to watch Murder.
I love the movie.
You really like that one, right, Tom?
I loved it. Yeah, like I mean, it's not like I'm sure there's going to be movies that top it like this year. I'm sure, like I without a doubt. But no, dude, like I thought that movie was really good. Like but I also liked what's the one the one it's a sequel to technically
Murder on Orient Express.
Yes, thank you. I like that one too, and a lot of people didn't, but a lot of people like this one more than Murder.
This one's got Gal Gadot.
It does, yeah.
This one has got
I know which movie it is.
It's a good movie. Yeah, I got to I caught the press screening earlier this year, and it was really good.
I was gonna say, you did cop a pre-screening to that, and I still need to watch the first one, which I see now is on Hulu. So I'll have to give that one a watch first, and then watch the second one on HBO.
Yeah, if you like I've only seen like half of Belfast so far. And I like what I'm seeing. And if you liked, well, first of all, what I really liked is you'll see in the beginning of Death on the Nile, Branagh definitely took a lot of his directing technique and put it into Death on the Nile, which I really enjoyed. You could see like he learned a lot about filmmaking just making that movie on a smaller scale, and he took that and brought it into Death on the Nile. And you'll probably respect that a lot. But like with Murder on the Orient Express, though, I mean, like, yeah, dude, it's a really to me of that year it was the most underrated movie. Like I thought that was yeah, it's got a great ensemble, man. Daisy Ridley, Josh Gad, Kenneth Branagh's in it himself, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp's playing a really good role in that movie too. When you see him, it's Judi Dench.
The cast member of that movie I've heard is like there's like a lot of there's the cast member is crazy.
Yeah. And then the new one had like Gal Gadot, Armie Hammer. I mean, just tons of people. I know we're not supposed to talk about Armie Hammer right now, but like really, he's good in the movie. Like I'm not gonna deny it.
Murder also had a Willem Dafoe in it.
Willem Dafoe was in Murder. That's right. Yeah, it's tons of great people in these things that they get.
Oh, Russell Brand was.
Russell Brand is in the new one. He's really good in the new one. In the Death on the Nile as well.
Tom Bateman.
He's in both. He's actually one of my favorites of the two. Yeah, in the two movies. Yeah, he's really good, dude. But good movies. You'll like the when I saw the beginning of Death on the Nile, though, I immediately thought of Belfast because I was like, damn, he learned some stuff, making that one. Because you'll see the Belfast influence come into that. But in a second here, though, who wants to talk about trailers? Is there anything else we had to talk about before that? I don't remember.
I don't think so.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about some trailers. So
we're saving Moon Knight for news.
We're saving. That's the last thing we're going to talk about on the show. So,
okay, yeah, perfect. Yep, then we're good. Yep.
Yeah, just so people who haven't seen it can tune out. That's the only.
Gotcha.
Reason.
No, perfect idea. I like it.
All right.
If you haven't seen it, you're trash.
Oh, this thing is not letting me pause it. I apologize. All right, I hit the music there a little early, buds, folks, fellas. Anyway, sorry about that. So, Jose, we're going to turn to our movie trailer correspondent. I'm all thrown off now. Our movie trailers correspondent, Jose Espinel. Jose, what do we got for the trailers?
All right, so first we got Sonic the Hedgehog 2. There's just something about Jim Carrey and comedy roles that gel very well, in my opinion. And this role's no exception. I mean, he's a bald egg with a silly mustache. I mean, come on now. Next, we got Lightyear. It was about time that we got someone else voicing Buzz Lightyear. I mean, Tim Allen was great, don't get me wrong. This is just a younger, new and improved Buzz Lightyear. So we needed someone younger to voice him, like America's favorite ass. I mean, who doesn't want him voicing?
Very true.
And last, we got Top Gun Maverick. Look, I don't blame Miles Teller for wanting to be in this movie. I mean, I would be begging to be in this movie as well if my most recent movies were Allegiant and the new Fantastic Four. That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, good job there, bud. And so let's talk about some of these. Starting with
Well, first off, you guys like those jokes?
Yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, you're getting there. Yeah. Not a lot of trailers today, so we're not as much of a laugh, not as much of a gas today, But No, I like them.
Sonic 2. I just saw that this YouTuber that I watch, he's from Dallas, Texas. He's actually in the movie in Sonic 2.
Oh, really?
In one of the scenes. Yeah, I just saw he posted a video today of the set that he was at and the scene that he was filming for.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start off as a guy who didn't see the first Sonic. I mean, I think this looks fun, man. I want to see this first one now, so I can catch this one.
The first one is good, honestly. I really enjoyed, the same guy who's in every single Animal movie is in the Sonic movie. I mean, he was in Hop, and he was in the first Sonic movie. He's gonna be in the second one. Guy. Yeah, he's really good. Jim Carrey,
he's awesome.
Yeah, Jim Carrey was also great in the first one. I really liked him playing Egghead or whatever the hell the evil guy's name is. I forget. But yeah, overall as a movie, I really enjoyed the first one, and I actually can't wait for this second one, especially because we're getting Knuckles and Tails now in this second one, it'll be really good.
You saw the first Sonic, right, Dave?
No.
Okay.
I saw a bunch of memes about the way the Sonic looked, and I said, "Screw this! He looks so screwed up." And then I saw that they fixed him, and then just recently, like 2 months ago, I was like, "Man, this Sonic movie looks trash." And then my girlfriend told me, like, Everyone's actually told me that Jim Carrey is absolutely freaking hilarious.
That's what I
was
hear.
like, Jim Carrey's in the movie? I didn't know that shit. I would have seen it immediately. So I'm definitely gonna go watch it, as well as Jose said, the guy that was in Hop as well. I forget his name.
James Marsden,
but that guy can really carry a role. I mean, between Hop and from what I heard, his performance in Sonic, and there was another one where he's basically with an animated character the whole movie. That guy can really carry a performance in a movie. He did great in Hop. I really like the Hop movie.
Yeah. He does. I was supposed to say, he does really good in movies where he talks to animated like creatures.
Yeah.
It's probably because he talks to himself in real life, and that's basically what you're doing in those movies. You're just talking to like an inanimate object like this, and just trying to make sense of what's going on. So he's probably just a crazy person, but good for them to utilize that to their advantage.
Hey, I also really like how in Idris Elba is the one voicing Knuckles in this movie. Actually, that's pretty cool.
I'm into it.
Yeah. The guy who's in what's it called, Criminal Minds, the African American guy, forget his name, the one who plays Morgan, and I don't know if you guys have seen Criminal Minds, but he's in this movie too. He's pretty cool. So yeah,
that was a tank. Sorry,
myself here.
Oh god.
Talking to myself.
Yeah, anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Move on. No, that was it.
Oh, okay, all right.
You also talked to the one Criminal Minds fan that's watching this right now. It's probably yourself, but
oh god. All right, what's next?
All right. No. We were talking about so the other trailers were how did I forget them already? Lightyear. Thank you. Lightyear dropped during the Oscars. That's why I forgot it, because we saw it so long ago. Feels like now. Zurg was cool.
Yes, I really liked how they're bringing that to the movie.
Yeah. I actually,
him and his tennis ball launcher.
I actually did like.
Yeah, Buzz Lightyear to the rescue. Buzz Lightyear to the rescue. I'm sorry, that's ingrained in my head.
No, and I actually like, I was excited for this movie. And then I saw Zurg, and I was like, I kind of just forgot about Zurg, but like they actually kind of did a good job throughout the Toy Story movies, like building up the Buzz Lightyear lore enough to where it's like now this is actually
nuts, man.
Now we can actually see like Buzz Lightyear have this like long
epic showdown
with
dude in the original Toy Story. Their showdown was pretty nuts too. Good. I mean, they had an absolute showdown of him trying to shoot down Buzz. He's using the floating platform to fight his way up and kick his ass. They had a really good fight scene for a kids movie, man. That's killer. And yeah, I'm really excited for this movie. I've heard a lot of dirty laundry about it, so obviously that's just, I always try to keep my hopes up and hope that they're not doing stupid stuff to this movie, and just go watch it and keep the opinions there. So I love Toy Story growing up, next to Monsters Inc., my favorite kids movie of all time. So I'm super excited about this.
Who doesn't want to hear America's favorite ass voice in this movie?
Yeah, no, it looks good. And I like getting a lot more dialogue from Chris Evans as well. Yeah, so that was really cool. So and just hearing him voice the role more so now. Yeah, I'm starting to like really get used to that idea. Not that I was really ever against it, actually, when they announced it at Disney Investors Day a couple years back that he was going to be doing it.
I remember you and I, we did an episode on that where like there was a lot of division on Twitter
and
like, about like between Tim Allen and Chris Evans, like, oh, why isn't Tim Allen voicing?
Yeah, like I was always for it. I was like, I think he'll do a good job. Yeah, I think it seems right. I think he's got the gravitas and the voice for it. It works. But Top Gun looked really fucking
Gun Maverick,
good.
Oof. Honestly, it did.
Yeah, this is I was happy to finally get a new trailer. Yeah,
I haven't seen the first one.
Oh, the first trailer or the first Top Gun?
No, the first Top Gun. Yeah.
The danger zone.
You've never seen Top Gun?
Nah.
What?
Nah, I've never seen the first Top Gun.
Oh yeah, dude, it's a classic. You should probably watch it.
I saw it's on Netflix, so I'll
stop your fucking toe.
I'll definitely watch the first one on Netflix before I go and watch this Maverick one, because this new one looks really, really good. I mean, yeah, I'm really excited for it. So
yeah, dude, I'm finally happy to get a new trailer for it, you know, and like I've talked about this so many times, but I got such goosebumps the day that they did the Terminator Genesis panel at Comic-Con, and Tom Cruise came out at the end of it. Nobody had any idea, and announced that Top Gun 2 was done, and they had a trailer ready, and he aired the trailer right there, and the audience just was so stoked. And then, now we got this new trailer, and yeah, it's nice to see some new footage finally. I've been watching the same trailer in theaters for 2 years now. Every time I go to the IMAX, they play the damn thing, and it gives me chills every time because the score is just so good. And yeah, but this one, you're right, man. And just the fact that, like Tom Cruise was talking about the Comic-Con, like it's all real flying. You know what I mean? They're really flying these things, and that's gonna be it looks amazing.
He
I mean,
uses
it's not-
those,
it's like it's-
he
it's
uses
not-
those
it's-
Scientology powers, and he's just.
I was gonna say it's not it's not a Tom Cruise movie unless he's actually doing the stunts
Exactly.
or the flying or anything like that. I mean, it's not a Tom Cruise movie unless he's doing it.
Exactly. And so yeah, it all looks incredible. I can't wait, dude.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this trailer was very chill inducing. Did you like it, Dave?
Yes, I'm still terrified, as I said, of Scientology, but I'm just gonna go ahead and pretend this is old Tom Cruise, and I'm gonna go watch it. And hope
Exactly.
there's not a subliminal mind washing going on in the movie. And I start walking over to the Tampa Bay Scientology.
Exactly. No, I'm terrified of it too.
You finish
Oh, yeah.
Top Gun. As soon as you finish Top Gun, you just get brainwashed. And you start like robot walking to the Scientology.
The good news is I'm just at the perfect distance to where by the time I get there in my robotic state, I'll probably snap out of it, and then I'll just be at the beach and enjoy the rest of the day. But
Yeah,
all those
nice.
people in Tampa are done for, man. They're going right in.
For sure. For sure. All right, man. All right, guys. Look, it's time to get to the news. God.
Oof. Here we go. Here we go.
Before we
Here
do that,
go.
though, let's break it up by talking about Spotify. If you're on the YouTube channel, please go over to Spotify. Go follow us. I'll leave a link in the description below. You'll be able to find all the episodes there as well. If you're on a commute, it's really great. You can put it on and listen in the vehicle without having to pull up a video. So I love Spotify for that reason. You guys should check it out. The podcasts are free. You don't have to sign up for a premium membership for Spotify. You can just listen to the podcast for free. So yeah, and then if you're on Spotify already, we appreciate that very much. But if you would, please head over to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/interact. So yes, all right, Dave, let's get to it. What's the first topic?
Alrighty, guys, we're gonna start this off with Amazon Prime original, and that is The Boys. When The Boys returns to Amazon Prime Video later this month, it'll be missing one of the most terrifying superheroes of all, Aya Cash, the actor behind the villainous Stormfront, confirmed in one recent interview she will be watching the series as a spectator this time around instead of as a participant. This releases June 3rd, by the way, is the release date. If anyone here doesn't see The Boys or hasn't seen it, this is kind of a weird thing because
it is weird.
We actually saw Stormfront live. I mean,
Yeah.
she got really messed up, but she lived.
Yeah, she did.
So the fact that this came out, and I was like, oh, she's not going to be in the new season. That's kind of weird. And she was an epic character. I mean, her addition into season 2 was absolutely astounding, really shook things up and messed with a lot of the conflicts at hand in the series.
Yeah.
So yeah, this one just really caught me off guard. She will not be there. It's not to say that she won't come back at all, but we're gonna have a whole season without her at least.
So I'll put it on this screen because I know Jose hasn't seen it. But nobody knows why she's not in it, or it's just...
No, yeah, nobody knows why. She just said that she'll be watching as a spectator. It sounded like it was something to do with her contract, perhaps. So yeah, she won't be in it this season. I don't know how they're going to distract from that. It was kind of a big point. Maybe they'll just kind of allude to it or kind of leave it in the shadows for now and come back to it in season 4.
I hope so.
After she heals up or something. But
yeah,
I hope it's not just one of those, turns into a referencing and she actually comes back, because her character was absolutely astounding.
Yeah, seems like a necessity to have her still in the story one way or the other to me, but I'm hoping the case is that we watch it and we're like, okay, I understand why she wasn't in that. You know, like it makes sense. I hope it just makes sense to the story, but yeah, I want to see her back at some point. I hope this isn't the last of Stormfront for sure. That's very interesting as a fan. A little upsetting, but we gotta wait and see what they're doing, I guess. And,
she probably saw the animated series and just didn't want to be a part of it anymore. So that'd be my guess.
Very possible.
I don't know if I want to be a part of this franchise.
Yeah. All right. What's next, bud?
For our next one, also in the world of The Boys, Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander in the Amazon Prime original TV show The Boys, turns out to be not so perfect of a hero in real life as well. From a recent group interview of the cast of The Boys, when asked who was most likely to be late on set, his co-stars laughed and pointed to Anthony. This is also the case when everyone asked who is the most like the character they play. There was actually a really awkward exchange. They all pointed at Anthony for this too. It was really stunned by it in the interview. So if you could watch that interview, guys. It's really funny.
Oh, shit.
They ask who's most like their character, and everyone pointed at Anthony. He's like, "Are you guys pointing at me?" So it was kind of in a fun, loving way. The cast seems to really like him.
Yeah.
But he was also stunned. Like, you guys think I'm like Homelander?
Okay.
Right. And then also, this is the beginning of the assaults for the night, I guess. Recently, Anthony Starr was arrested in Spain for partaking in a bar fight.
Well,
the police were called following the altercation, in which a 21-year-old chef was said to have been punched twice by the actor, as well as had a glass smashed into his face after trying to make Starr leave the bar after another altercation. The victim was taken to a hospital and received 4 stitches above his eye. The report mentions that Starr was given a 12-month suspended prison sentence because they understand he's not from the country. However, the actor is able to avoid any prison time if he pays a fine of 4,000 euros, which is like roughly $7,800 in American money.
Look, is this the week of hitting people? I mean, does everybody just want to go out there and fuck up this week?
To be fair, this is actually a couple weeks old, but yeah, I mean,
granted, but like, come on, you know, like, what are you doing?
Look, the one event just made everyone just go out there and be like, you know what, fuck it. If he can do it, I'm gonna just do it too.
It's true, man. It's wild, dude. Like, this is getting insane. Like, just stop fucking assaulting people. Like, how about that? There you go. Not okay. But yeah, I want to save most of my assault thoughts for the next assault. But,
save my assault thoughts. The
next assault.
Go ahead.
I've spread out the assaults just to let you guys know, so you're not going to get them all back to back here. That'd be too much to handle.
Jesus Christ.
This next one, I hope, is a surprise to you guys, because if so, it'll be freaking awesome to tell you guys first. But HBO has revealed that the Game of Thrones prequel series House of the Dragon will premiere on August 21st of 2022.
Holy shit.
Let's go.
I gotta hear my phone.
Let's go. Yeah. Nice. Oh, come on. I told you.
Holy shit.
Internet, Jose. Why would you do that?
No, I didn't look it up. I got the notification on my phone because I have the HBO Max app. So I got the notification on my phone.
I am your notification system. Turn that shit off.
All right, Dave, you and I are the Game of Thrones guys here. What do we got? I mean, this is crazy exciting. I didn't think this was coming anytime soon. I'll be honest. Like, I was thinking 2025. Yeah. I'll be completely.
I'm on a lot of the Facebook pages where people just keep talking about this like it's about to happen, and it's been happening like on the pages for that for like 2 years. I'm like, you guys are bullshitting me, man. This is never gonna happen. And then sure enough, I saw this by IGN this afternoon. This is the one that dropped at like 5 o'clock right before the show. I was like, oh shit. So yeah, I'm super excited about this. You know, from some of the pictures that we got from the filming, it looks really interesting. I'm really interested in this one, and you know, it's both sad and great that we don't have the cast of before and the actors of before. But then, you know, that's one of the things I'm worried about, where hopefully they play it off well. They get some really good new actors in this, some new blood, and do something great with this. That's, you know, in the Game of Thrones universe, but it's very own thing.
Yeah, I just thought about this is going to be.
There's an overview.
Who wants to go first here? Go ahead.
There's an overview that they wrote about the show, like I guess a little like synopsis about what it's going to be about.
Oh, we know.
Show.
It's the Targaryens, 1,000 years before. You know, we know
300 years.
300 years. I thought I don't know.
War.
So whatever. 300.
It's generations removed.
It doesn't matter. It's
all the people we know are not alive. So
yeah, way before these people were alive. I'll say this though, man. Like, I just thought of this. They're really looking to compete with Lord of the Rings here. With this, Lord of the Rings comes in September, I think, and this is coming in August. So we're really gonna have some tight competition. They'll probably overlap.
Yeah. I'm assuming. I just hope that they don't focus on. Honestly, one of the things I'm worried about, where one of these is gonna tank, is I hope neither show, because there's been rumors on both, focus, and not so much on Game of Thrones, but a lot on Lord of the Rings. I hope neither of them try to focus on some stupid politics in this world. I mean, to a certain extent, obviously, there's things where like people are complaining about castings that are stupid. That's not what I'm referring to, but there's been some little spills here and there, some dirty laundry of Lord of the Rings being a bit political. So that's one of the things that, as a Lord of the Rings fan and a Game of Thrones fan, I hope that they don't do that, so that we could just get 2 fucking killer shows here and see how they go. But
well, I think it depends too. I mean, there's definitely like things that happen in Game of Thrones that you like. Yeah, I can relate that to what's going on today. You know what I mean? But like, it's not there to be related to today necessarily. Like it's really there to move the story forward, but you can relate it still at the same time. Like
it's meant to be relatable, not direct.
And like yes, exactly.
And that's what I'm hoping for, is that it's relatable to our world, the real world that we live in. There's some good themes in there, but it's not some direct, overt message that they're trying to send to an audience. Just make a great show, make some good real life connections and themes that people can relate to, and let's get 2 kick-ass shows here going. Do you know the release date on Lord of the Rings, by the way?
Yeah, I think it's September something.
September 2nd.
Thank you. So
back to back here. Wow.
This is why the move was made. I can tell you right now, they do want to compete with Lord of the Rings, and I'll say this, and the only other thing that makes me nervous, I know this makes some people happy, but to me it makes me nervous because we got to remember the good things about Game of Thrones, the great things about Game of Thrones, the amazing things about Game of Thrones. Dan and Dave aren't a part of this one as writers. They're not the creative force. That would be my one big worry. But I just hope that they get somebody who's a big enough fan of this stuff to run the show, and that's
not like a Ryan Johnson or something, it's just content.
Hey, maybe he'd be good
about himself.
No, he's working with Dan and Dave right now, so I think we're good there. But on their whatever Netflix thing, they're doing the Alien show or something. Anyway, but yeah, he's working with them, so I think you're good. I think you're safe. But yeah, no, man, I think that the show, I'm looking forward to it. Give me more House of the Dragon, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what this whole show is going to be based around. So I'm into it, dude. I mean, the Khaleesi stuff in Game of Thrones is like the highlight in a lot of ways, and it really plays, man. If they can keep on that path and just, dude, I'm excited, man. I'm excited for another sword and sandal show, if you will. Sword and sandal fantasy show. And
I'm not a big fan of Daenerys in the show. Like, I really hate her character. Emilia Clarke does a great job of playing her. I'm just saying her character I hate.
I think you were supposed to. That's my take.
They tricked me. Yeah, I was gonna say they tricked me though, because the first time watching it through, I really liked Daenerys, and then I rewatched. I was like, man, she is really awful. Like I went back and like I realized like she's awful. Like immediately, she's like the first time through, I'm like, man, she got really bad at the end there, and then you rewatch it, and you're like, oh, she was like awful from day one. Like I hated her immediately.
Yeah, the second watch helps you appreciate the finale. I've been trying to tell people this because when you get to the finale, you're not so upset about what ultimately happened. So, because you're like when you really track it, it makes sense. A lot more sense when you track it to the finale the second time around. But anyways.
Which, by the way, shout out to my boy Icarus, the best character in all of Game of Thrones, the most underrated. Rob Stark's
died
awesome. Too young, died too early. Ned would be the most proud of him. Okay, all you people in the Facebook polls and the Facebook page, he'd be the most proud of Rob Stark. Okay?
I love Rob Stark.
Couldn't be beaten too strong, too fast. Good man.
Yeah, dude.
I think he's one of the only good men in that show where like, and I mean men and women, like when you look at everyone, most people in that show suck, which what makes it so good. Like that's why when Ed Sheeran has his cameo, which I actually liked, I don't know why
it was good.
So much.
It worked out.
Yeah, it was great. You realize in that scene kind of for a minute, like, man, most people in this universe suck. Like I expected Arya to get like messed up by these dudes, them to do something messed up.
Yeah.
And like they were actually just like pretty good dudes.
Yeah.
It's such a rare thing in the show that when it hits you, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
There's actually purely like good people, and Rob Stark's one of the few. So
yeah, I agree.
Big shout out to Rob Stark.
I agree. And it really is weird to me that people like watch the finale and what ultimately happens. I really want Jose to watch the show. So I like fresh eyes, so I don't want to give it away. But
Jose.
But they're not so they watch the finale and they're upset about that, but they didn't get upset about what happened in the Red Wedding. It's consistent with the series, in my opinion, but different discussion. Yeah. But I mean, but
I kind of disagree, but I agree. I see what you're saying there.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm talking about as far as the Daenerys aspect, I guess.
No. For that, it's accurate.
Yeah. So
I'm down with that.
Other things, for sure, there are certain problems. I'm not trying to say there's not. I'm just talking.
But no, Daenerys thing.
That
I don't
one
understand
thing
why
that people like cling on to, it's weird to me. That's what I'm talking about. That
it is to me too. Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm sorry. So it's August. I mean, I'm stoked. That's
August
a lot fucking sooner than I think.
You'll be getting something out of us for that, I'm sure. Not just movie mornings. I mean, that might be that may be worthy of some on the spot episodes there.
Yeah,
I know Dom's
actually,
a big fan, so we might be putting some stuff together there.
Yeah.
Watching it right when it airs. I'll
you
stay
better
up until
believe
4
it, dude.
a.m.
I'm a massive Game of Thrones fan. You better believe it.
Me
dude.
too.
It's happening.
Oh yeah. All right.
Can't wait, dude. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh yeah. All right. So this next one, I want to be very clear, guys. I'm always with the news here. I try to be very objective and straightforward. This one is kind of a rumor. It's an excited rumor for me. I know Dom would probably like it. Decent source on this one, so I'm going with it. Just know it's a rumor. This isn't fact. Sure. But apparently, it is being talked about right now that a Welcome to Derry It prequel series is in the works at HBO Max.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, first of all, yes, I do like the rumor, and as a matter of fact, I would almost say that it's got a lot of clout behind it, and because honestly, Muschietti's already talked about it. He's already talked about wanting to do it. If this is a rumor right now, even if it's somebody just guessing, they're probably going to get this guess right, because it's honestly, he's talked about wanting to do this, and he said he looked at it as a trilogy when he started it, not a 2-movie thing. So I hope it gets done with Muschietti attached. I love it. I think that movie is awesome. The Muschietti It in particular, and I thought his sequel was respectable. I don't think there's a version of that second half of the book that you can make that's perfect. Honestly, because the second half of the book is just not as good as the first half. It's just a fact. But that storyline anyway. But for what resources he had to make a movie to fit it into 2.5 hours or whatever, it was good, man. I wasn't crazy about it when I first saw it, but then when I watched it at home, I was like, this plays really nicely and especially when you watch it back to back, it plays really well. So I really like the second movie. I think Muschietti's very talented. I think he did his best with that franchise.
Bill Hader in there is great, I gotta say.
So good.
I don't see Bill Hader in much, so I've only seen his hilarious and amazing spot-on Star Wars impressions in the past.
Yeah, no,
because I don't watch SNL because it's trash now ever since the early 2000s.
Not the best.
But Bill Hader in that movie, man, was absolutely excellent and absolutely freaking hilarious.
Yeah, he's awesome in that movie.
A great value to add to a horror movie. I mean, there's just some horror movies that get that aspect of comedy mixed into it that just absolutely kill, where it doesn't kill the mood of the movie or the horror aspect of it and just capitalizes on it. And he got that for sure.
Yeah. I don't know if this source is guessing or not, or just trying to spread something, but I would say it's a pretty good guess if that's the case. And
whatever the source was, I could try to pull it up later here, but whatever the source was, it was reliable enough for me to go like, oh shit, okay, this is a pretty solid rumor. But even they again said reportedly in development. So well, sure, and I'll take it, man. I mean, look, I bet it's happening. Maybe not the second, but I bet it will happen because, again, the movie's made so much goddamn money too. Like, why would you greenlight it? Yeah, if Muschietti wants to do another one, they're gonna greenlight it for him because they made so much goddamn money. I don't know, Jose. Did you watch it 1 or 2?
I watched both of them in theaters, and I really enjoyed the first one. Obviously, the second one, sequel wasn't as good, like you said, because the story itself.
The story just doesn't lend itself, but yeah,
exactly. But I mean, the more that I watched the second movie, the more I appreciated it. So yeah, I mean, look, give me the third movie. I can't wait. Whenever it does come, if it does come, I'm excited.
Yeah,
like Dave said, Bill Hader is hilarious. I mean, every single time I think about Bill Hader, I think about his impression of Mr. Hollywood and the comedy roast for that was hilarious as hell. And Bill Hader was just really funny,
that was a really good bit when he did that.
Exactly.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So Bill Hader is just hilarious.
He's great.
He was great in it chapter 2, and man, look, give me it chapter 3. I'm here for it.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it's one of those scary movies that I actually can watch.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't actually scare me. It's one of those really
I never had the clown thing either. I'm not saying that there's not some freaky shit in that movie. I mean, when you see Georgie get his arm bit off and he's that was crazy as fuck when you saw that. I'm not saying there's not creepy shit, and I'm saying I'm saying that as a compliment where I've never really had the clown thing like a lot of people do, but for a clown movie, it's pretty fucking freaky.
100%.
For what it's trying to do, and man. I mean, I want to see a prequel, and I think the world just kind of lends itself to a prequel as well. Even though King
100%.
never went back and wrote it, I just think for me, like there's so much already kind of written for you. It almost writes itself a prequel in a way. It just makes so much sense to go back and explore this again, and do it. And,
For sure.
Muschietti's got a great handle on these. I think he would do a really good job. I think he understands the mythology of Pennywise and all that. So it makes sense to me. Yeah.
For sure.
All right, Dave. What's next?
Alrighty, we're right back to the assault, guys. I'm gonna assault Jose with all these assault things I'm reading here. I can't resist it now. At this point, it's in my blood. Now, for this one, we're talking about actor Ezra Miller. The actor was arrested on charges of disorderly conduct and harassment after an alleged incident at a karaoke bar in Hilo, Hawaii. According to a Facebook post from Hawaii County Police, the police alleged that Miller, who resides in Vermont, yelled obscenities and became agitated as people sang songs at the karaoke venue. They claimed that the actor grabbed a microphone from a woman in the middle of a song and lunged at a man playing darts, attacking him. The actor was released after posting $500 bail. One question I had for you guys, in case you're a little bit more brushed up, but this one was kind of given to me today by Dom, so I didn't get to look into it too much.
There's more to the story, essentially, is what it is. We need to talk about it, because
there's more to the story. This isn't his first case, right?
It's not.
I've heard things about it.
I'll give you the background here in a minute, but go ahead and read the rest of the stuff that happened, because there's a lot. It's actually kind of disturbing, the rest of it, if you ask me, but we'll get into that.
There was, in the article you gave me, it was a bit confusing to read, but I read something. Was this something about roommates that he lived with and an incident with them?
Okay, so here's what happened, because I've heard a lot of confusion. So let me go ahead and touch on this, because a lot of people seem to be like throwing out things that aren't true about this, and there's a lot of confusion going on right now. And I did spend a lot of time today trying to familiarize myself with the facts of this, so that way, in case there was still confusion, I can hopefully clear it up for everybody. So, and I will warn the audience, this is not for the faint of heart, I would say. The story, it's a disturbing story, and it sucks. So, to start with the background of this, and you could probably go back and listen to me talk about this on whatever show I talked about it on the channel. I'm sure it's there. Ezra Miller, about a couple years ago, this was when the pandemic was kind of first hitting and everything, he did to go take a trip out of country. I can't remember. I think it was Iceland, I want to say. And went to a bar in Iceland. Thank you. And he got very drunk, and apparently he was being belligerent in the bar. He got kicked out of the bar. I guess a fan, to my knowledge, this is what I hear, was just kind of asking him for an autograph and just trying to, and granted, I mean, fans can get, kind of touchy and things like that when it comes to that. And I'm not saying that the fan wasn't pushing him at all, but it was a female fan, and he was walking out of the bar after getting kicked out. And the boyfriend, I think, of the woman who was a fan, was recording video of him walking out of the bar, and she was playfully just kind of throwing up hands like, "Hey, Ezra," you know what I mean? Like, as he was walking by. He flipped out. This is all on video, guys. You can go find this. And he flipped out and took the woman by the throat and put her down. To which Warner Brothers did nothing, and I said that was bullshit. He was not held accountable. There was no statement made. That Warner Brothers' plan was to just shut up about it. Sorry, Jose. Really quick. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying we talked about we talked about that, you and I, in an episode.
Was it? Okay.
It was you and I talking about the previous incident that happened, which is what you just said right now, where he in Iceland he choked the woman and threw her to the ground.
Yeah,
and we were because it was I think we were comparing it to the Johnny. Oh my Jesus Christ, the wind is blowing so hard right now.
Well, I did say, like, I thought it was very unfair that people have been fired at Warner Brothers for less. People who are part of the same projects, i.e. Fantastic Beasts and the Fantastic Beasts project, which this third one comes out in a couple weeks here. Fast forward to now, 2 weeks before his next big release, he goes to Hawaii. I guess it was about a week ago, or a week before Sunday. He goes to Hawaii. He met this very nice couple, and I guess they were very nice. I don't know. They were nice to him. They hit it off. They were friends, and
let him stay at their place. House of residence.
I don't know if he stayed with them for the week, but here is what happened. So he went to a bar. got hammered and decided to be a belligerent asshole. Goes up to a woman. He was asking her from the seat to stop singing. I think I heard. He rushed the stage, knocks the microphone out of her hand, and then went and proceeded to attack a man playing darts, in which case he got arrested. Ezra Miller's in jail, and this couple bails him out of jail. And that's when they let him stay on Monday night at their place. Monday night rolls around and Ezra Miller bursts into their bedroom, tells, basically, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but he said that he was going to murder the man and
I will bury you and your slut wife.
You and your slut wife. Thank you, is the words. And took their shit, took their wallets,
social security cards, passports, driver's license, bank cards, everything, like so much stuff.
Listen, and so it's down to a pattern of behavior at this point. And look, I know like a lot of people, Dave, I'm not saying this is a slight to you. I know like a lot of people with the Will Smith thing, and we'll get to this in a minute, were calling out mental illness, and I don't know if that's necessarily true about Will Smith, but this to me does sound like a man who's mentally ill. And it's not an excuse to act the way he did. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he does need help. And as far as Flash movies go, I'm not trying to be funny. They're going to multiverse him right out of this next one. I'll tell you that right now. There's no way they're going to let him do that again. I don't know, as far as Fantastic Beasts go, what's going to happen. There's really not much they can do. It comes out in 2 weeks. I think a little less actually at this point. So there's that. Well, a little over, sorry, 2 weeks. So there's that. And then look, all I would say is like, this is wrong. He did this a long time ago, and Warner Brothers shut up about it. Ezra Miller and his team shut up about it. There was no statement. They continued to let him do press, and that was wrong because they really gave him a passport to act like a complete fucking jackass. And I warned against this when it happened. I'm sure Jose remembers. And you know, it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. And you know what? If they don't say anything now, it's a huge fucking error. It's a huge fucking error because they have two major projects coming out with this guy, and this story is even bigger than the last one. The guy threatened to murder a couple. He stole their shit. This guy, there's tragedy here. He's mentally ill. I'm telling you right now. I don't know this, but I can only assume. This is a pattern of behavior of a mentally ill person. And I hope he gets help because this is, trust me, coming from somebody who likes the guy. I think he's very talented as an actor. And I really do hope he gets the help that he needs. Is he ever going to do The Flash again? No, I wouldn't count on it. Is he ever going to show up in a Harry Potter movie again? I wouldn't count on it. But he needs help. This is my point. The guy needs actual help, and the people around him are enabling
stuff
him.
For himself too. I mean, that's in terms of his record. The only thing that really shows here again is his him choking the lady on video. There's this incident here, but then also back in January here, he threatened the North Carolina chapter of the Ku Klux Klan.
Yes, thank you.
Nobody here is a fan of the Ku Klux Klan. But to threaten them is very dangerous and stupid thing to do. I don't care who you are. That is very dangerous. I don't think, no offense to Ezra Miller, but he's like, 80 pounds, and I don't think he has any mixed martial arts experience. And I probably doubt that he owns a gun. So to do something as stupid and ludicrous as threaten the Ku Klux Klan is dangerous behavior. And that's where I think Thomas may be right in terms of, I think he needs mental help. That is not something that you want to do. And keep in mind, I want to be very clear about this. He didn't just make fun of the Ku Klux Klan. Mm-hmm. He threatened them, which is where it's dangerous and stupid, especially when you're that big of a character and person in Hollywood. And the Ku Klux Klan probably doesn't like him very much, given just his lifestyle. So to try to give them an excuse by threatening them is very dangerous behavior. And I mean, just given the things that he's done, physically assaulting people, I am surprised, quite frankly, that he hasn't just been choked out in public. Apparently, he's gotten lucky with the people he's picked on because like 90% of the people I know, again, no offense, Ezra Miller, you'd be in the ground right now, not them, if you pick this fight.
The first fan didn't press charges. He's extremely lucky because he took that opportunity to move on and try to better himself and fucked it all up. And, because that people were getting over that whole thing, and I think I wasn't, but other people were. And it was at that point where they were really starting to get over it and fucked it up again. And a lot of it is because he wasn't held accountable initially, in my opinion. And that's not good, man. Like, that's just not. He's acting like an idiot. I hate that all three of these incidents involved women. And this is just the shit we know about. I can't imagine what else he has done that we don't know about. And it's scary to me that that's like an actual conversation that we're having about like somebody who's in the public eye as much as he is, and is like, honestly, I'm going to say this really quick, is Denzel had told Will Smith, you know, when you're at your highest point, that's when the devil comes for you. And I'm starting to really see that a lot lately. It seems
oh my
like,
gosh,
and
yeah.
it really, and I there is a lot of truth to that, it turns out, because Ezra Miller was getting ready to be at the height of his career. Honestly, I think that if the Fantastic Beasts movie, it's getting good reviews, much better than the last one. If that had come out and been successful, and then the Flash movie comes out and is amazing, I mean,
he had a real shot at the future.
Yeah.
He was getting to the point where he's just getting warmed up. You know what I mean? I mean, just if this didn't happen, which I know that you guys aren't into this. I boycott stuff when the things happen at Disney with Gina Carano. Everyone in my family unsubscribes. We stop watching that immediately. Even now, there's means of watching it without subscribing to Disney Plus. So I am one that if you're that bad of a person or you do something that stupid, I like to vote with my money. And this is horrendous. The fact that Warner Brothers can let this happen. It already went unchecked once, and then they're dropping Johnny Depp of all people over situations of keeping Amber Heard. They could not be making a bigger freaking mistake. And I mean, luckily, surprisingly, people don't care about DC enough to the point where they might get away with it. Meaning, people may not be affected that much by the Flash or care much about it, or most of Warner Bros. Stuff compared to like Johnny Depp, who's a much more public figure. So he might slip by, which is probably why Warner Bros. Didn't check him the first time, is because they're like, he's not Johnny Depp. Maybe we could get away with we got away with, getting rid of Johnny Depp and keeping Amber Heard. Why not give this a shot? But at this point, I think this kid probably had, in terms of his acting, because I like to distinguish, what you do in your personal life, and even if it's crimes that you've committed, and actual talent, because those things don't connect, but you should be punished for it if it's interfering with it. And at this point, this kid was really talented. I think he's going to get some crazy offers after this news Flash movie came out, and Fantastic Beasts again, killer reviews. I think he would have gotten some great offers. I think those are going to disappear.
Well, the problem is now he really is a liability. You can't insure him on a big Hollywood movie. They're not going to hire him if you can't insure him. And
his career.
Well, the other part of it, and I want to get your take too, Jose, in a minute, but the other part of this that I would mention too is the fact that Flash was a massive deal because this is where Michael Keaton was coming back, and as Batman, and everybody wanted to see that, but man, we'll see how this affects it, man. It's going to be interesting. I don't know. Well, they're in a very fortunate position, I would say, now, to where Flash has just recently been delayed for that whole year. It's not coming until 2023 now. So maybe they could make some changes. But Fantastic Beasts, good luck, at this point, good luck to you. I'm glad the reviews are good. I'm hoping that boosts it. I am still going to go see the movie. I'm a big Potter fan, and I want to support the franchise. I'm a fan. I didn't like the last one, but I'm happy to hear that this one might be good. And so I hope that just doesn't affect anything. But Jose, I'm going to get your take here too. What are you thinking?
Well, first off, I want to say, if we can't get Grant Gustin to be the Flash in the movies, at least get someone.
I know you're not a fan of his portrayal.
Give me someone from the Flash show, please. I said it from day one. I said it from when they wanted to put the Flash in DC. I said it from day one. If you can't get Grant Gustin, get someone else who's been in the show. I said it from day one, and I was right. Look what's happened.
I don't know.
All right, that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. You should have gotten at least anyone else from the show. You could have gotten Zoom. You could have gotten, I don't know, Reverse. Someone else from the show to play the Flash. Obviously, I understand because Grant Gustin is shooting for the show. He can't do it himself, but could have had anyone else. But I mean, that's
different
my
universe. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, if there was someone who's just in one episode or like one season, you could have easily had them, just do a different role if their character just doesn't show up ever again. But anyways,
go ahead. Sorry.
In terms of I haven't seen any of the Fantastic Beasts movies. I'm not that big of a Potterhead, so I especially now after this, I definitely am not going to go watch the movie. I'm not going to spend my own money to solicit this. So yeah, bye
Well,
bye that
I
movie.
would push back on that really quick, if I may. I'm sorry, because Ezra Miller's not the only person that worked on this movie.
That is true, but
I'm just saying.
At the same time, like I said, I'm not the big.
Do you?
biggest
Like I said to Dave, you do you. Do what you want to do.
I'm not the biggest.
If it makes-
I'm not the biggest Potterhead.
Yeah.
And
In my terms of boycotting, by the way, just for moral justification, because now it's being brought up, I don't want to punish the people that work on these things, but at this point, if you're going to continue to work with something like Warner Brothers after they do this, which is why I will, for instance, watch this Fantastic Beasts, but after this, that's pretty much the end of the line for me. And that again, I don't want to punish the actors, but what else are we supposed to do to hold studios accountable? And that's why I like boycotting companies, is because it's worked historically, and there is a way of which we have to hold them accountable. And for me, that's what we do, and that's what worked really good with Disney Plus. I mean, they weren't obviously going to bring Gina Carano back because that was going to hurt them too much public image.
Well, there's a difference with what you're saying though, because what you're saying is different in the sense that Warner Brothers has not held themselves accountable for this. That's a different situation, and I can understand that point. But there's also the part, at least in my take, and like I said, everybody do what makes you comfortable and makes you happy. I'm not trying to tell you this to do something differently. I would just say, for me, if I may, that one of the things that I would say is the way that we talk to studios is with our wallets. Unfortunately, I hate that that's the way it is, but it is. And if this Fantastic Beasts movie is great, and I get that this is unrelated to the Ezra Miller part of it. I'm just saying, like, in general, if this Fantastic Beasts movie is great, I do want to support it, and if it's great, I'll watch it multiple times, only because that's me telling Warner Brothers, I want more like this. I was disappointed in that last one. I want more like this. But if they don't hold themselves accountable, I might even feel very differently about this if there's not a statement about this within a week from now. Because that's different. I was mad at them about, the last situation, and I gotta be honest, I was not excited about Flash anymore, and then they dangled Michael Keaton, the shiny keys, in front of us, and we also, ooh, then it was like, oh, now fuck, I gotta see it. Because unfortunately they got the bucks to make the content and demand, supply and demand. But for me, it's like it's really a hard line. I guess my point is, don't deprive yourself of good shit, because don't let one bad apple spoil the whole bunch either. Because,
there's other ways of watching, their product.
But. Yeah. I guess that would be and that's fine. If, like I said, do what makes you comfortable.
Yeah, no,
exactly.
That's and that's where I say go watch Fantastic Beasts, because, like you said, I think it's important for the studios to understand that they made a good movie. But at the same time, I don't think the studios are so stupid when, again, I hate to bring up the example because it's an old one, but it's the most prominent and obvious. Disney knew what they did wrong when they dropped Gina Carano, and people were pissed. And as that following quarter ended, and they were looking at the numbers for Disney Plus and the fact that they were reaching what they needed to reach to be sustainable, and then it dropped off, they understood in that moment that it wasn't the show that screwed up, and it was them that dropped the ball, and that fans are pissed. So I think Fantastic Beasts are going to understand when they have great critic and Rotten Tomatoes scores that are good, but then Ezra Miller here is trending, and they understand obviously it's because of that controversy, and then maybe they'll learn, step away from people like this, start making good casting choices, stop punishing Johnny Depp for Amber Heard throwing a freaking glass bottle at his head, and get back on the right track here. You're making good movies. Don't screw this up, because I think Warner Brothers, to be honest, is one of the studios out there that's killing it right now in terms of the content that they're putting forth, but also the stupidest in terms of social things or political things, in terms of like the Johnny Depp issue, this Ezra Miller thing, the fact that it's gone unaddressed. They're making really stupid choices in that regard, and it's sad.
It needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed very smart. And statements from Warner Brothers lately have been the opposite of very smart, if I'm being honest. But what I will say is this: it's what I'm saying is, as a movie fan, just because that's what we're here. That's why we're here. We're fans of the movies. That's why we're here talking. This is why we all get along so well. This is our common interest in life. I would hate to deprive myself of something great, and I would hate for my fellow movie fans to have to do that because one bad apple spoiled the whole bunch for them. It's unfortunate if that's the case, and I understand your position on it.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, man, I couldn't imagine if this Fantastic movie, I doubt it is, if this Fantastic Beasts movie ends up being the best Harry Potter ever made, I would be like, man, I'd hate to miss that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of
St. Vincent is a great St. Vincent I just watched recently.
That's a good movie.
Amazing movie.
Yeah.
It hurt my stomach when I saw Harvey Weinstein's name come on screen.
Of course, yeah.
But they took care of that shit real good.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if he's still alive, but
he's alive, I think.
I'm sure they'll work that out.
Look, and if the movie gets if Fantastic Beasts 3 gets amazing reviews, then as soon as it comes on a streaming,
it's gotten great reviews so far. Yeah,
I'll watch it. I'll watch it that way. I'm just not going to spend.
No. Like I said, that's
extra
fine.
money
I'm
going to
talking
watch
in
it.
terms of like boycotting to the point where you won't watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like a line there. I think like to where you won't ever watch it. Like, and I understand it to where like some people really turns their stomach to the point they can't. And I get that. And you need to be comfortable in what you watch, and I understand that. And some people might, sometimes people just do bad shit that like it strikes something personal in somebody's life. And so I understand. I'm not trying to tell you what to do and not be comfortable with. What I'm saying is, as a movie
Can't
fan,
tell me how to live my life down.
as a movie fan, there's so much left over from the ashes, I suppose, to where you can kind of pick it up and like look at it and say, damn, that was awesome. Like, damn, I'm glad I didn't deprive myself of that, deprive myself of that experience, because I'm not condoning the actions of Ezra Miller here. Obviously, I'm just trying to say, as a movie fan, it's not an easy thing to talk about. This isn't an easy. There's no easy solution to this, but I guess the point is man, don't let one bad apple spoil the whole bunch. That's been my philosophy in life the whole time. It's like, I'm not gonna let his dumbass actions ruin everybody else's career. Personally, I want to support their careers because they're not responsible for him. The studio is, and it's a different thing if they don't put out a statement here within the week. It's a very different thing. I think this time they're gonna have to. But yeah, I don't know, Jose, I felt like we interrupted your thing though on the story itself, and I wanted to let you speak on that.
No, I mean, I guess in terms of what you were saying about don't let one bad apple spoil the bunch. If it was a different movie, I probably would still go watch it in theaters, even if if Ezra Miller was in a different movie that I like really wanted to go watch, then I probably wouldn't. But yeah, no,
The fact
I mean,
that you're uninterested already is like, why do it?
Exactly.
Oh, sure, that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but
yeah.
Go ahead.
But in terms of what he's done here, I mean, it's if they because now Warner Bros is gonna have to speak out. The fact that it's taken so many incidents for them to finally actually come out and say something is ridiculous, and the fact that, like Dave said, that Johnny Depp has gotten more shit than Ezra Miller has. I mean, Ezra Miller hasn't gotten shit, and the fact that Johnny Depp's gotten more is just ridiculous, and it's making Warner Bros look like absolute dog shit. And
Making them look like Kathleen Kennedy is up in there running the place for these stupid ass decisions, man.
it's like Bob Paycheck over here. I mean, shit.
Did you say Bob Paycheck?
Yeah, that was our thing last week. We started calling him Bob Paycheck because that's apparently all he cares about. But yeah,
oh, that's funny.
But like really though, like it's making Warner Bros look like shit, and it's making them just. It's making me hate them more and more, which I hate to say because I really have enjoyed Warner Bros. In the past as a studio with their movies. But right now it's just they're not on my good side right now, and something needs to happen to him. I mean, he needs to be checked into some kind of mental institute or go to therapy or something, because
we don't necessarily want to see him burnt at the stake. I mean, listen, this is going to come up when I talk about Will Smith too. Like, regardless of like what his soul or spirit is, if people want to talk about that, I don't really care. The things that he did were asshole things, and he was an asshole, at least in that moment, to an extent of where he needs to be held accountable.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to get him help, I'm down for reforming and helping anyone.
Yeah.
I have seen very awful people in my life turn good. I have a friend now who I met who is a very vicious racist. when I met him, and he is now the best guy ever. And not only that, but his girlfriend is black. It's amazing, the turnaround that I've seen in people. So I'm not saying I want to kill Ezra Miller, put him at the stake, sacrifice him. Just do something to help this situation, because you're letting it sit, and now there's 3 incidences that have been racked up, and he keeps doing stupid shit. Get this guy help, make a statement, and come forward about it. Because if you just keep dodging it and don't say anything about it, we're going to keep thinking you're neglecting to address the issue, and no one's going to want to trust you.
Yeah. Look, I mean, you know, I'm look, we got to move on because we're short on time, but you know, I'm open to any and all comments on this that anybody wants to leave, and I'm open to takes as long as you're just not coming in there just to be a dick. I'm open to takes in the comment section on this, but anyway, let's move on, Dave. What do we got?
Oh yeah, alrighty, man. This is such a dark day in news. This is alrighty. Whew. According to the family of Bruce Willis, this past Wednesday, he is suffering from a medical condition that is affecting his cognitive abilities and will be taking a break from acting. I can't pronounce the medical condition, so you guys can Google. Thank you, Jose, resident doctor on hand to help me out pronouncing that stuff. But obviously, it affects his cognitive abilities, what he can do on set, his hearing, his thoughts. He can't work right. I did see some photos here of him on set working with an earpiece and prompter, which is something he's never had to do in the past. So obviously it's really hurting him. We don't know if he's completely retiring or not. You know, with decline in cognitive abilities, this is something that at his age, maybe he might be able to work out. You can't exactly get medicine for this type of thing. Like I said, it's almost something that you need to really focus in on, take the time and try to fix yourself. It's almost like, you know, getting nearly crippled. If any Doctor Strange fans out there, like him coming from the brink, this is something you really got to work on, focus on. And he definitely needs to step back and focus on his health and his family and the rest of his years he has here. Because as much as we love seeing Bruce Willis, we want him healthy. I'd rather not see him on the big screen, but see him smiling and walking and being with his family and being happy. So heart goes out to Bruce Willis. Love that guy. Hope he's doing good. Hope he gets better.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, man, and yeah, he had an amazing career. If this is the end, he had a really good career. If this is the end of his acting career, he made some amazing movies. I mean, Die Hard, Pulp Fiction. I mean, he's some of the most iconic characters out there, man. Just between those two alone, and there's others. His friend's cameo, whatever it is that floats your boat. I mean, look, you know. For me, it's sad, man. It's sad. And you're right, Dave. I mean, it's more important that he's just in good health and happy, and he's doing what's best for him and his family. You know, that's what's important. And I hope that the time he's taking is to get better, you know, and maybe, you know, do whatever treatment he can to help this, and you know, maybe practice his communication skills and all that kind of stuff. Not because I want to see him act again, just because I have a tremendous amount of respect for the dude. It's honestly, he's one of the greats, man, and like you don't want any of the greats to ever pass away, although it's inevitably always going to happen, or just quit their careers or whatever, you know. Yeah, of course I would love to see Will Smith in movies again, but the most important thing is that the guy gets better. Bruce Willis, Jesus Christ.
Him too. Him as well. Worked perfect. That's as I told my girlfriend earlier when I saw this, I'd rather. I told her about Muhammad Ali, who I love.
That's a good example.
I would rather see Muhammad Ali walk on his own 2 legs, unhelped and smiling and talking like he used to,
of course,
than have him 5 more minutes in the ring. I mean, that's these people are, you know, some of them are pieces of shit. But when you talk about Bruce Willis and Muhammad Ali, these guys, these are good dudes. And the last thing you want to do is for 5 more minutes of entertainment for 1 more movie, have them hurt themselves. I'd rather see them come to the Oscars as guests, walking in with their family and doing good. That's the entertainment I want on screen. I want to see them living their lives and going on good.
I was recently something happened. Something similar happened to 2 soccer players. Now we were talking about, you know, like there's this one soccer player. He's from Denmark, and I don't know if you guys heard about this. He like passed out on the pitch, and he was basically dead, and they were able to bring him back to life. He went to the hospital. He had to take like this really long break from he was young too. He was like 26, and he had this like heart attack that basically
saw
killed
it.
him. It killed him, but he came back to life. They were able to resuscitate him, bring him back. He went to the hospital. He took a very long, but he just now recently came back to soccer actually, after taking the break that he needed. So like we've been talking here. I mean, I would have rather seen him take the time that he needed, be healthy, and not see not have him play more time on the pitch and kill himself. Which is also why Sergio Aguero also just retired from soccer at the age of 30 because he had this heart problem that he couldn't play anymore. Obviously, he didn't want to retire, but he had to because of this heart problem that he had that didn't let him continue playing soccer. He had to quit, retire, and just focus on himself and be healthy, not risk death. So it's sad to see, but I'd rather see them walking happy, healthy with their families than playing more minutes on the pitch and risking death. So it's sad to see and hear, but it's the truth.
Yeah, for sure.
Truth of the matter.
Anyway, I hate to cut this short, but again, we gotta keep going here. So we got more to talk about for sure. So what's next, Dave?
Alrighty. This next one here. Listen. I ain't gonna read some stupid article. We all know what happened here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We all know what happened. I ain't gonna read word for word what happened. Okay. You guys know. You've seen the memes. All right. You can't avoid them.
We saw
it's
it
everywhere.
Live. We saw it live.
But some of us saw it live. Some of us had our potentially not legal streams taken down, and we didn't get to watch it live. And we had to watch it the next day. But Will Smith, whether it be mentally ill or being an asshole, smacked one of the greatest comedians of all time, 6-year-old Chris Rock, for a G.I. Jane joke.
The fish dude slapped the zebra guy.
The Shark Tales. You guys like pitch meetings, right?
Yeah.
The memes I've seen from pitch meetings, just like, so this is in the Shark Tales cinematic universe. No, that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
The memes I've already seen on Twitter about this has been crazy because it was all from the Chris Rock tweet where he was like, "Don't worry, guys, my gum took most of the blow," and then there was just like a bunch of retweets under that, like all these different memes. I mean, oh my gosh!
You guys said, "Is that slap real?" I was like, "Yep, that was real. That was."
Yeah. Well, at the time, it just felt like a bit. I think that was a lot of our reactions, but we talked about our initial reactions on this already on the Oscars recap. One thing I want to say to start with, and I do feel it's important for me to start here because there's it's been some backlash by the way I reacted to said reaction, and I just wanted to clear some things up because maybe in the spur of the moment I wasn't able to give my true thoughts there. There was alcohol involved. Absolutely, there was alcohol involved. I'm not going to deny that, and we were all just kind of like in shock, I think, at the time, and we said it in the spur of the moment. Obviously,
we were wondering if it was real or not.
Obviously, I did not have collected thoughts, and I didn't have time to ponder it to where I could process it. Really, I was processing a lot of things, and there's been a couple people that did not agree with what I said, and I'm sitting here like, whoa, by no means did I have time to process what the hell I was going to say. That was such a spur in the moment show with alcohol involved. So let me start and give my full thoughts, and I'm going to start with this. There's no excuse for Will Smith getting up on that stage and smacking Chris Rock. It was incredibly fucking wrong. Obviously, I never said it was right. I'm sorry if my words were interpreted that way by some people. I never said that. And nor have I ever thought that from the moment I saw it. Well, the moment I saw it, I thought it was a bit, but it doesn't matter. Once I figured out it was real, by no means am I saying we should excuse Will Smith. Will Smith might be one of my favorite celebrities of all time. Will Smith might be Will fucking Smith, one of the most influential people of all time, but it doesn't excuse him from violence or assault. And by all means, the Academy should have escorted him out immediately after. That would have been the right thing to do to hold him accountable, and I blame the Academy for not. And then maybe had let him give his Oscar speech on his own YouTube channel. That's doing really well, so whatever. But what I don't think should happen, if I may.
Thanks a lot, Tom. Now we're not going to ever get invited to the Oscars. You condemning them like that? That's
fix it. I don't want to go till you fix your shit. Honestly, I'm being real about that.
Oh yeah.
But the other part of this is, you don't take his Academy away either, which they're not. But I'm saying, like, that's the performance is still the performance, and he gave it, and Yeah, look, man, Chris Rock made a joke, and from what I hear, the word is that, I don't know this, but the word has been, he didn't know that Will Smith's wife had alopecia, and Will Smith, there was an adult way to do that instead of getting up on that stage and acting like a fucking 5-year-old. It was unnecessary. There was an adult way to talk that out. But let me say this, okay? Let me say this, and this is not a defense of Will Smith. I'm saying that unlike the Ezra Miller situation, to me, there is a perspective that I can look at to where I could see what may have caused the incident. And I've already said it's inexcusable behavior, 100%. Please, nobody take my words the wrong way. I don't think his behavior was excusable, people. And he should have been escorted out immediately after. He assaulted a man in a public event. You escort them out. I don't care if they're Will fucking Smith or the Pope. Get them out of that event. But I want to say this for the people who are shouting out a lot of things and are fuming about this, and I understand that why they're fuming. I'm not saying that. But I think that there's people that are fuming to the point where they're saying cancel Will Smith. I don't want to see him in a movie ever again. I understand doing the kind of violence that he, what's the word I'm looking for? Perpetrated. Thank you. On that stage was terrible. I understand why you're upset, and I understand that a lot of people were fuming to the point to where when he made his speech, I don't know that they comprehended everything that he said personally. Or took it the way that I think he meant it. Because all I was saying on my recap show is when I listened to the speech, when I saw him get up on that stage, I did see a man where all of his fuck ups that day just hit him, and he felt remorse. And the fact that one of the first things he brought up, and a lot of people seem to be ignoring this part of it, Denzel told him, at your highest point, the devil comes from you. He fucking meant that shit. And I think he realized how lucky he was in that moment to be standing up there and making a speech. I don't think Will Smith is mentally ill. This is what I think actually happened. This is my theory on the mindset. I don't have any facts. My personal opinion of the Will Smith situation, and then I'll let everybody else kind of give their thoughts and everything, and you can comment on my thoughts. This is my opinion of the Will Smith situation, while knowing that I'm not excusing him of his behavior, nor do I think it was right. My opinion of it is Will Smith has been grinding his entire career. That doesn't put him above the law or anything like that, but he has been grinding his entire career. And he's somebody who's been working for this Oscar for a long time. We damn well know it. And again, that doesn't put him above anybody, but he is somebody who's been doing that. And when you're an actor who's dedicated like Will Smith, doesn't make him God, but when you're as dedicated as him, I think when you're finally sitting there at that Academy Awards, and this is the one that you might win, I think there's a lot of pressure building. I think that you get to a boiling point. And I think Will Smith looked over, I think Chris Rock said the joke, which Will Smith laughed at, by the way. Well, you can actually look at that. I think Will Smith looked over at his wife.
A lot.
I think Will Smith looked over at his wife, and I don't know how his marriage is. I'm not in Will Smith's house, but I think he looked at his wife's reaction, and he said, "Damn it, Rock! Now I got to go home and deal with that shit if I don't do something." That's my opinion of the situation, just analyzing it. And I think he got up on the stage, smacked Chris Rock so he didn't have to hear it from the wife later that he didn't defend her, started screaming. And I think all the stress just came to him in one moment. The other thing I would say, and the reason I think that this differs a lot from the Ezra Miller situation, is this is not a pattern of behavior. In Will Smith's entire career, this is the first physical assault incident that I've ever seen from him. Again, not excusing the behavior. I'm just saying that I think that there is a line and a difference and a little bit of a gray area here, just a little bit. And I also think the fact that Chris Rock, when you look at Chris Rock's reaction, I think that you can look at it in one of two ways. Number one, Chris Rock thought it was going to be a bit, which I'm pretty sure is what happened, and that he got kind of blindsided by that whole thing, and then he got up and continued the show like a fucking pro.
Yeah.
Two,
big props to him.
The second thing that you can look at as is there was something that happened prior, and I don't think this is what happened, but there could have been something that happened prior to the show, and Rock was just egging it on and poking a sleeping bear. Doesn't excuse Will Smith's behavior even then, but I'm saying that's something to maybe take into consideration, is the fact that maybe that happened. I don't think that's the case. I think Will Smith got heated. I think he reached his boiling point, and I think much like Denzel says, and we've been witnessing this a lot, so it must be true. When you're at your highest moment, that's when the devil comes for you. I think that's what happened to Will here. I think he immediately realized after the fact, considering his apology, which I thought was very good, his actual apology statement. I'm not talking about what he said in his speech, while I loved his speech personally, and that's my opinion. I'm talking about his actual statement, apology statement that he put out the day after. I think is very good. I think he apologized to Chris Rock, and it sounds like something that came out of his mouth. And he even said he's a work in progress, which means he's probably is struggling with some personal stuff. I don't think that means he has a mental illness or like an identity disorder type mental illness, like a lot of people are calling, but he may have some depression in his life. He may have things he's stressed out about. And I think he's somebody who, as we were talking about earlier in the show, when it came to work, Dave, always willing to learn and willing to learn from mistakes and willing to learn from others. And I think that's how I look at Will Smith. I guess to wrap this up on my end of it is, I'll never forget, I'm going to share something very personal I've never really talked about. I was with an ex-girlfriend, and her and I weren't doing so well in our personal relationship when we were dating at the time. We had some struggles. We were struggling pretty bad, actually. Just because we weren't right for each other is what I would chalk it up to. And anyway, she was a part of a bowling league, and she would go to the bowling alley, and there was a certain gentleman who befriended her, and I was okay with that. And then I heard some of the things the gentleman was saying about her, some things that were very kind of disgusting in the sexual manner. Not that he acted upon those, but he was saying them, and I heard that. Outside of the bowling alley, we walked outside, and I screamed at the man, and I went to lunge at the man, because I was just there. And luckily I was pulled back. Somebody had the right sense to pull me back and not make the move. But I was very pissed, and I made a mistake, and I realized I made a mistake. And what I'm saying is, I would hope that nobody would judge me on that one moment alone. You know, I would hope that nobody would ever judge me on that one moment alone, because I know that's not who I am. I was in a rough spot, and I made a mistake. It was stupid. And had I gone through with that mistake and somebody didn't have the right sense to pull me back, that man's face would have been punched. Was that the right action for me? No. But that's what happened. And I know that's not the person I am today, and nor was it the person I wanted to be at the time. But sometimes, I don't know, people do stupid shit, and there's mistakes that get made. And as long as you don't let it be a pattern of behavior, I think it's okay. So, rest of Will Smith's life pending. I think that there's a time to forgive, you know, and I think Rock's over it. I think Will's over it. I think we're getting past it. That's my personal take. I'm sorry for the long-winded thing there. I just felt like it needed to be said, because there's just a lot of shouting and politicizing this, and I just don't think it's a big deal. There's steps that the Academy needs to take. They need to get security in there, and people shouldn't be able to walk on the stage and smack other people. But sorry, Dave, Jose, who wants to go here?
To be fair to the show, by the way, at Oscars, plenty of people have walked on stage unprompted at different times, which is where Chris Rock thought it was a bit for sure. Anyone thinking it's fake because Chris Rock moved his head, like, dude, if you take one boxing class in your life,
it's not fake.
When you see someone move their head, that's what you do when you're getting hit. You don't stand there and get hit in the face. The second you see him start to move in any sort of threatening way, you move away from it to get away. This was real. Chris Rock had no idea what hit him. He was obviously in huge shock. And in Oscars before, people have walked on stage when necessarily it wasn't their, written in time to walk on stage.
It's true.
They helped presented. They've talked into the mic, helped even give awards in the past. So this is where I think Chris Rock was really just taken back by it, because when he sees Will Smith coming, it's pretty obvious that he thinks like, oh no, he's gonna come up and say something in the mic. He'll probably joke with Chris Rock. I mean, Will Smith is a pretty funny guy. He's known to be a comedian as well.
And I
not
thought
a
he was
stand-up, but
going
he's a
to when he
comedian.
got up there too, as an audience.
Yeah, I
member
thought he was
watching,
going to go up there and say something funny.
Yeah.
Maybe bash Chris Rock a little bit.
Yeah.
I did not think he was going to smack him. Before I say anything else, I want to make it very clear. Will Smith is one of my childhood heroes. When I went into school as a kid, kids in my class would ask me, because I was the only one that could do it, to recite the entire Fresh Prince of Bel-Air opening. I loved Will Smith. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I, Robot, Men in Black, everything this guy's been in, I've been a fan of. Hitch is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love to show my girlfriend that one, especially with Kevin James in there. I love Will Smith. Now, the only way, and I have a little bit of a different point of view from Dom here. Obviously, Dom, I appreciate, and I'm sure everyone here condemns any sort of violence. I understand that Chris Rock said something about his wife. Anyone out there that has someone say something mean to you, you got to be strong enough to walk away. Okay. If someone says something about your wife, you got to dish it back the way that they gave it to you. It's you don't want to, like in Dom's personal situation here, you don't want to get stabbed or shot over something stupid that some asshole said. Yeah. Like if you're Will Smith, you should not be thinking, I need to go smack this guy. You should be thinking, what the fuck do I care what Chris Rock says? And that's what Jada should be thinking. That's what Will Smith should be saying. If anyone's saying something about you, which not to downplay what Jada has here, but it's anything shy of about stage 4 cancer is not really worth getting your hands on somebody, and even then you shouldn't.
And really quick, Dave, I'm sorry to interject. Let's be real. That is not the most offensive joke ever made at the Oscars either. And let's be honest about that.
I mean, to be honest, with the material present, I mean, that's anyone that's been following the Smiths, there's a lot of really bad offensive jokes that Chris Rock could have said there that he did not, which is why this is obviously a lighthearted, and you see it in a shock afterwards. Dude, it was a G.I. Jane joke.
And I was listening to really quick, last interjection, I'm sorry, but I think you'll agree with my point here, is the reason I'm saying it, because I mean, there's a perspective of that joke where some people thought Demi Moore was hot in G.I. Jane. Maybe Chris Rock.
Yeah, she's badass, dude.
Yeah. So maybe it was there's a positive spin you can put on that, and I don't know Rock's, perspective on it. I'm not in his mind, but anyway, sorry. I'm just saying there's no ways to look at it. Yeah.
That's one of the things that got me about the joke, was like, it's a G.I. Jane joke. That's not really a very negative connotation. That's G.I. Jane is badass, and that's a badass movie. That's
wasn't even that funny.
Other than making fun of the baldness. Yeah, I mean, it's like that's he even said, like, when everyone reacted initially because they saw Will get up, he's like, that's a light joke, dude. And he's like, oh, he's coming up here, and then afterwards like, dude, it's a G.I. Jane joke. What the hell is your problem? Yeah. In the words of, like Joe Rogan said on his podcast, I mean, it's not right to put your hands on somebody, man. No. And more importantly, like I said, for being a Will Smith fan, he needs help because he's going to get himself hurt. And the reason I say this is because when he apologized in a speech, and I know that people aren't conflating this to be the case, but he didn't apologize to the guy that he just assaulted. And it's not like Will Smith just like stayed on stage and he didn't have enough time to think about it. I mean, there was a pause. People talked to him. He relaxed from the situation a little bit. If he didn't feel like he was right in his mind to smack Chris Rock, or he isn't mentally ill, he would have apologized to him right there. That should have been the first words out of his mouth. If he really didn't mean it and it was a heat of the moment thing, or if he isn't, having some sort of, and when I say mental illness, I mean depression could be hitting him. The pressure of his relationship can be hitting him.
I was saying there are people out there shouting out specific disorders that I don't think he's showing signs of, and that's kind of where I was at, and I was just kind of getting tired of hearing that.
I agree.
Depression is a mental illness. I'm not downplaying that, and that could be something he's dealing with for sure, and I wouldn't doubt that. That's possible for sure. Yeah.
And I've kept my eyes on Will Smith. I think that is what I'm referring to. I think he's dealing with huge mental illness and not a great relationship with his wife.
I agree.
People say they have an open relationship. It didn't necessarily start as open, and that's not the way they wanted to start it. And if you watch his red tables, and even if, I mean, it's a thing where you don't know if they decided to go in an open relationship because, well, let me just put it this way. I doubt that they sat down one day and said, oh, I didn't know that you were also doing that and wanted to have that relationship. Let's do it. I think it was okay, I got to deal with this or move on type of thing. And you see it at the red table. If anyone sees Will Smith's red table when Jada is talking, and there's so many memes going on about it before. This is a guy who's struggling and he needs help.
And he talked
Again, I
about
don't
his
think he has
speech
food
too.
disorder.
About I hate to keep interjecting, but he mentioned in his speech, you know, having to smile when you don't want to. And I think that does point to him actually struggling with some personal shit. And I think you're right, Dave, on that, because that does point to somebody who's struggling with some personal shit. And by all means, through his entire career, Will Smith has done a really good job of putting on the happy face when maybe he was having a bad day. Or continue. Yeah.
And this is something that's obviously come later in life, you know, not to blame his son, Jaden, but I'm just saying, like, things got a lot more depressing when he had Jaden come on screen and he started failing and stuff. And that's not a downplay, but it's just to say, like, there's obviously family dynamics in terms of like Jaden Smith coming in and coming to the movie industry, and it changed his son's personality and who he was in front of his eyes. His son isn't performing well. People are bashing him. Same with Willow Smith. I mean, Willow Smith got a lot better reception, obviously, in her movies her music career as well, and her performances. She's doing a lot better off, but these things start to pile off, and you start with a guy who's in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Men in Black, and seemed like one of the happiest dudes ever, and I think he was, and you see him devolve into this, and obviously there's like I said, I think there's two ways of looking at it. He's an asshole, which regardless of mental illness, in the words of Pete Davidson, mental illness doesn't give you the excuse to act like a jackass, which is what he said about Kanye. I mean, that was a jackass move that he pulled, and it's wrong. And it really does hurt me in terms of, I don't know how to feel about Will Smith right now, because he didn't come out and apologize to Chris Rock right there like he should have. After, again, they dropped a commercial weight for him before he came out on stage stuff. A lot of people came over and consoled him. First words out of his mouth should have been apologizing for assaulting someone, not apologizing to the Academy trying to save your own skin, or apologizing to the other people in the room for having to have seen you hit somebody. But think about the person you just laid your hands on. That's not okay. And I mean, like Joe Rogan said, that's not okay. I don't think Will Smith would have tried to put his hands on Joe Rogan if he told that joke. Yeah. And that's one of the things that hurts the most, is that Chris Rock is a really nice guy. He was obviously embarrassed, and Will Smith wouldn't do this if it was another dude, but because of obviously Jada's influence and his depression he's going through right now, it was the perfect mix of him hitting this guy who's a really good dude.
Yeah. Well, if I may too, really quick, just say this, and it's just because we're not in the room and we don't know. I'm gonna play something really quick from that angle. It's because it's the truth. And until we know more information, you know, I mean, you know, we could change our opinions on this. But the one thing I would say is Rock did what he did. He got hit. He went backstage because he has to. Will Smith went back to his seat because that's where he's supposed to be, you know. And then they went to a commercial break pretty shortly after. We don't know if Will went backstage to apologize afterward or not, because he might have. That's a possibility. I'm not saying he did or didn't. I'm just saying that we don't know that yet. So I would like to find out about that for sure. But if that did happen, I don't know. I guess they don't have like an obligation to release it to the public, but they probably should, because it's getting kind of heated right now out there. And like, if that happened, I hope that they do release that to the public.
And well,
we don't know.
I don't think that they have an obligation to us to share, you know, Will Smith's apology publicly. I think Will Smith owes it to Chris Rock, as publicly as he embarrassed him on stage, to publicly apologize.
That's a good
for his
point.
Actions. That's where I come from.
That's a good point.
Not for the sake of the public gets to know about everything, but as publicly as he went up there and embarrassed Chris Rock to his face.
That's a good point.
As publicly as he should apologize.
And he did put out a public apology later.
Yeah, he did put out a
later. And you're not wrong though, Dave, and I understand your perspective entirely, and I'm not. Yeah. And again, I would go back to there's no excuse for his behavior, but because we're short on time, if it's okay, I'm going to go to Jose and let him talk, and then we'll get to Moon Knight.
Well, I really don't want Jose to be able to talk freely, but I mean, if we can move to that.
It's because I'm brown, isn't it? It's because I'm of color, isn't it? That's why. It's because I'm color.
No, it's because you watch soccer. The two are disconnected. That's
wow.
What you got, Jose?
No, I was gonna say, you know, I mean, you guys basically hit everything that I probably could possibly say. I mean, you guys were on for like 20 minutes, and I was kind of just sit back and listening. Yeah. You're good. But one thing I did want to say, which is kind of like a counter, is that my life was different in terms of, you know, whether violence should be used or not. I really do believe in violence. Not to the point of killing someone, obviously, not to the point of like killing someone with guns or something, but like, you know, if you need to get in a fight, you need to get into a fight. Like when I was in high school, like all through basically from elementary school all the way through my high school years, I got bullied. I got bullied for like racist wise. Like white dudes were always being racist to me, saying, you know, you belong in Mexico. Go back to your country. Is like you belong, you know, in the narcos and the cartels where you just, you know, your raggedy ass, whatever. I mean, I got everything, the whole shebang. I mean, there was days where I would cry and just get sent home during the middle of school because I just couldn't take it anymore. And then one day in high school, this one white guy, you know, just keeps, and he said it in class too, in front of a bunch of teachers. And the teachers, what pissed me off the most is that teachers didn't do anything about it. They didn't talk to this kid after school or after class and say, hey, you can't say that kind of stuff. I mean, this kid didn't get anything. So then one day I was like, you know what, you, me, the playground, let's go right now. I'm gonna whoop your ass. And I whooped his ass. He didn't say anything to me ever since. So I am a believer in, if you need to stand, like, you stand up for yourself if it's something that you get for like throughout your entire life. Like obviously this is the first time this joke was ever made about Will Smith's wife, but if it's something that you are constantly getting throughout your entire life, then stand up for yourself and make it to where this person will never ever bug you about that ever again. That's just where I stand. Especially, I mean, obviously, because it's different. It's different. I mean, different for you guys because you guys are white. I am brown. I'm of Latino descent, so it's different, obviously, for me because I get the shit. I used to get this shit all the time. I don't get it anymore, obviously, because I'm in a college of diversity now. I see more like people of color than white people. So obviously, I don't get it anymore. But back I used to go to a private Catholic school, which was full of white people. So all of us would get it. The black people, the Latinos, everyone would get it. So it's, yeah, I mean,
yeah, but first of all, thank you for sharing that personal thing about yourself. Because I know it's like not easy sometimes to share personal things. I think what separates it for me is that we're talking about an actual joke. You know, like Chris Rock's a comedian. He's making a joke, and it might not have landed the way he wanted it to. And then there's the other part of what you were saying too. You went on the playground and beat his ass. If Will Smith really felt an obligation to beat his ass or smack him, he could have done it in the parking lot. You don't do it on stage at a prestigious event in a public place. You know?
I guess I mean
there's a difference.
It still wasn't public, but there were like half the school was out there watching.
You're not at the highest point in your career. You're not at a prestigious event. True, You're not. You have a responsibility. You're not an influential figure in that moment. You have a responsibility, is what we're saying, as an influential figure.
Right.
I'm just saying that's what separates it. I appreciate you sharing your side, but yeah.
If I may, Jose, one of the things where I grew up in, because believe it or not, I was bullied in high school on the basis of my race, because turns out there's not a whole lot of white kids in the south side of Chicago, and they don't usually like white kids in the south side of Chicago. So I was bullied on my race too, constantly. I'm not saying just bullied in terms of words, but getting jumped, getting my ass beat, jumping out of the bus, thinking I'm going into school, getting pulled aside and getting beat up by multiple people. It's the reason I started taking MMA, started lifting, getting into shape. The one thing that my parents always taught me, and it's very important because I see it with one of my childhood heroes right now, Conor McGregor, in public, is you're supposed to beat people at their own game and exert the same force that they gave you. So if someone's going to publicly humiliate you and try to say something, what you need to do is become wittier, smarter, and outclass them at their own game. Because the last thing you want to be is Conor McGregor, who has a broken leg at the VMAs and is trying to lunge across at Machine Gun Kelly for something that was said. And now Conor McGregor is in jail at the end of the night because he tried to fight someone over the words he said. And you're going to do more damage to yourself than you will the other person.
Well, yeah. And if you got up there, if Will had gotten up there and just taken the mic and just made a joke about Rock, which he probably could have, he's got that quick
killed him, dude. He's got the
It's
comedy.
twofold. Number one, you got him back. Number two, we still have an entertaining show and you didn't ruin your anything.
And you're not in trouble because Will Smith is very lucky to not have charges pressed on him.
Anyway, I want Jose to be able to finish this point. So sorry, go ahead, Jose.
No, so yeah, I mean, like Dave said, I mean, there's probably something going on in his personal life that he needs to get figured out. I mean, he's probably going through some shit that, like you said, Dom too, is what pushed him to do what he did. Obviously, it's not an excuse.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have done it in public. I mean, if you really wanted to settle it, you could have done it in private if you're really that kind of person. But at the same time, like you said, he probably could have just made a joke and then left it at that, because like, you know, Will Smith is a comedian. He could have easily done that. So yeah, no, I mean, that's really all I have to say. Gosh, this episode, Jesus.
I know it's wild. It's a wild day. We're gonna talk about Moon Knight in a second, so it'll get better. But look, and you know, the last thing I would say too is it goes back into, you know, do what makes you comfortable at the end of the day. I don't want anybody to watch anything that makes them uncomfortable, but if you can bear through it, I do challenge people to go back and at least try his speech out again, because if you look at it from the side I saw it, I did see a man with a lot of remorse in his face and a lot of remorse in his words. Maybe he didn't come out straight and say, I apologize to Chris Rock, but you saw a man who was upset about what he did. That's the way I saw it.
I mean, it made me tear up, honestly. Yeah. My live reaction to that speech had me tearing up, man. It was a great speech, honestly.
I think there was a lot of good in there, and I think people are just focusing on the bad parts of it. And again, do what makes you comfortable as a viewer, as an audience member, but I would challenge people to try to watch it now that everybody's kind of cooled down, and try to see it from the perspective of somebody who, you know, actually, you know, is showing a little bit of remorse and is saying a lot of things that do address what he did, and try to focus on the good that was there too, because there is a lot of good in there. And again, that's not excusing his behavior. That's just saying maybe you can look at things from there is a gray area there. That's all I'm trying to say. I think there is a gray area in what was done on this particular night. I think what Ezra did was worse. I'm not trying to compare.
Oh, without doubt.
Yeah, and I think that there is a gray area here where we could try to understand. I think that's a big problem in the world. Is I'm not trying to get political. I'm just saying, like, there's a big problem in the world where we're also just fucking reactionary, and we don't try to understand the other person's point of view and perspective, and we're just reactionary to things, and we're like, cancel that person, cancel this person, instead of just sitting down, trying to understand their perspective, trying to understand where they're coming from, trying to have a fucking conversation. And clearly Will Smith didn't try to have a conversation when he should have. I get that. And I get that people are trying to retaliate against that behavior, but there is probably a way to look at it to where it can, cooler heads should prevail here. That's all I'm trying to say. But all right, Moon Knight, guys, let's talk about it. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. I'm going to start with Jose, because Jose, I feel like, hasn't talked a lot today. I feel bad. What was your thoughts on the episode, bud?
Oh my goodness gracious! I think honestly, my favorite of the Marvel shows so far, if I'm being honest. This show was just the lure and the Egyptian, you know, like, religion that's taken a play in this show is really cool. The double personality, I'm loving it. I just finished watching the new Rockstar's breakdown of this episode as well, and oh my gosh, man, it is a great episode. I honestly can't wait to see what's in store for Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight here, because I mean, the moon deity, all the goddesses and gods of this show. I mean, the main bad guy, I forget his name. Him and his.
Me too, unfortunately, but it's Ethan Hawke. But yeah, anyway,
Ethan Hawke. Yeah, his character and the whole, you know, judging people with the tattoo of the balance is really sick. Really cool concept. When I opened up with him walking on glass, I was like, it gave me like chills. I was like, what in the hell? Yeah. Like it's some really intense stuff, and I honestly am really, really enjoying it. Yeah. The whole like flashing in and out too is really cool. I really enjoyed that aspect too of the shows is really cool. Yeah, I can't wait to see what's in store for these next 5 episodes of the show, honestly, because it's my favorite so far of the Marvel shows.
All right,
on Disney Plus.
I'm gonna let Dave go too here. I try to just stick with an overall summary. I'll take us into spoilers here in a minute. Just
Gotcha. Yeah, I can do that. As you guys know, I've been very disappointed in Marvel as of lately, specifically with their series. I mean, have just been very disappointed in me. I know you guys kind of disagree with me. I thought Loki started off
that's why I'm so curious about your opinion here. Honestly,
you know, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I thought they could have had something going there with the chemistry of the two, but I thought that tanked pretty hard. Didn't like it much. WandaVision, I thought, started off really weak and actually turned out to be really good, which is why I'm almost scared of this one, because this is probably the strongest first episode I've seen out of any of the series. I was so skeptical of this, especially because it includes my least favorite thing in this world, which is British accents, which are all fake and made up. British people aren't real, much like the birds. So, you know, I was a little bit judgmental going into it. And this was a freaking great first episode. Oscar Isaac killed it. I really like the dichotomy it shows between Mark and Steven. I really like Steven's approach of really being terrified and almost like, like almost nerdy nervous, I call it, of what the hell is happening right now in this moment. And yeah, this is one of the most interesting first episodes and setups I've ever seen. So I am really happy with this right now.
Hell yeah. And the reason I wanted to take us into spoilers is because the things I have to say involve spoilers. I literally can't sum up my opinion without spoiling things. So look guys, I've been hyped about this. I've been telling everybody. I know that this is an unknown character, but Oscar Isaac, Ethan Hawke, you watch, they're going to knock this shit out of the park. And the reception has been nothing but incredible, and I'm loving to hear that. I'm loving to hear that people love the fuck out of this show. And it's not just that fact that it's the cast, man, it's the fact that we're dealing with like psychotic disorders and things, which we've been talking about a lot tonight. But I always love that. That's such a good intrigue for shows for me, and like I was so stoked, man, when I saw the trailer. I don't love it. I gotta be honest. I'm not on the same boat as a lot of people.
Stub your toe.
Honestly, no. You know what? Stub your whole foot. Honestly,
I gotta be honest, guys. Look,
SmackDown.
Okay. Let me start with the things that I really like. Okay, because there's a lot. Ethan Hawke is incredible in the show. He's keeping this thing going for me in this episode. I love the villain aspect of it. I think it's great. Oscar Isaac is also very good, as expected. He's doing the role extremely, extremely well. Now, that said, I did not dislike the episode, so don't anybody take me the wrong way. I'm not on the hype train yet.
No, I'm taking you the wrong way.
Everybody else. No, I know, but like, look, and hear me out. This is my take on it. All right. So, look, Oscar Isaac doing great work here. And when it opened up, by the way, and Ethan Hawke was walking on the glass, I was like, oh shit,
Oh, dude, that was
blown away.
Dark.
Blown away.
Dude, it
also, let me second what you said, Jose. The mythology and stuff, I'm digging all that. I think that stuff is playing extremely high, extremely well. It's actually really, for the most part, it's pretty well made. I think that like the directing, the editing, all the editing choices are really cool, the way we switch between different things. And it's kind of got this like really quick style that I love. So what I would say about this show to me is like, what I loved is I like the opening. I liked opening up with Oscar Isaac kind of chained up and, having all that, going on with him. Steven at the time, I believe, is the character at the time. And folks who've seen it know what I'm talking about. And we are going straight into spoilers here now at this point. And what I think, again, what worked really great was just, not really, for a second, the show tricks you. It makes you question, is this guy nuts? Or is he not? Because you do start to question that throughout it. And I think that played okay. And I had no problem with that, but it also, to me, like just added like a little bit of a damper on this episode to where I didn't know what was going on in this in particular episode. And what I also, kind of found to be kind of obnoxious, if I may, in this episode for myself personally. Two things. Number one, and I'm going to clear this up really quick so you guys understand it. I thought Steven was a fucking doofus in this thing. And, like, I'll be honest, like, that was my interpretation of him as a character. Now, you get to the ending, and you get around to Mark, and everything starts to make sense. And it's like, they played him that way for a reason. And that I really liked. So you understood it, like, immediately. Or not immediately, but once you got to the end. The second thing I didn't love is the goofiness of the tone. I understand Marvel has a need to make everything comedic, and I just didn't think it worked here. I got to be honest. Like, I thought a story about a guy with dissociative identity disorder would have played. I'm not offended by it, but I'm saying it would have played better for me personally had you played it a little more straight. And I'm not expecting this out of Marvel, but coming off of something like the Batman, where we are seeing a superhero who's a little bit whacked out.
That's when I was watching the trailer breakdown or the episode breakdown that New Rockstars did. They were saying that Moon Knight is literally just like the Marvel version of Batman,
Right.
which is how it was played in the comics. That's how Steven,
Yeah.
the Steven character was played in the comics. He was more of this billionaire badass,
right.
Turned badass vigilante as well, which is
Sure.
why I think Disney didn't decide to go that way with Steven.
I
This
guess
is probably why they went the more goofier route, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. And I have no
Um,
stakes in the comics. I would just say that, like, for me, like, and I have no stakes in the comics or anything. I'm just saying the type of story that they're telling just it would have lent itself better had they played it straight. All that said, let me point this out though. Once you get to the ending of this episode and we figure it all out and everything's pieced together, now I'm intrigued and I think it's going to go a lot better for me next week. I suspect I'm going to love next week's episode. I'm talking about this first episode, the jumble tone. I understand why it was done that way. I'm just saying for me, I don't love it right now. I think it's good. I'm intrigued. I'm in. I'm hooked.
Well, I definitely agree with you in the fact, and I don't know if I told you guys this before. Huge Moon Knight fan. The very first action figure I ever had was Moon Knight.
Oh, you told me it was your first action figure. Never mind. I'm sorry.
We went to Universal Studios.
Shit.
I said, "Holy shit, that's Moon Knight!" I freaking begged my parents, like, "Dude, don't get me candy, don't give me popcorn, don't give me shit. Give me Moon Knight." And I went home with Moon Knight, and I was stoked. I love Moon Knight. One of the things that made me love this episode was I was kind of in Dom's camp here, where I was like, Steven is a really big doofus. I kind of liked, because I don't think they're going to stick to it to a T, but they kind of have like this Venom-like humor between Steven and Mark in the early flashbacks we got here. Like the van one was a big one where he's trying to get away in the ice cream truck, where it's kind of like this humor is like, what the hell is going on? Like picking up the pieces of what just he realized happened and not having total control. And obviously this isn't his character doing it. But one of the things that I figure is that, you know, with Steven's character, because he is kind of still like a blank CD from what they've done in this first episode, I kind of like the take that they've done, because I figured Steven is going to grow more. And that's one of the issues I did have growing up with the comics, was that the two ways I definitely wouldn't want this to play out, because of how I know Moon Knight in the comics, is I don't want him to be played like an RDJ here. I don't want him to turn into like some Tony Stark,
I don't want that either.
Turn better. And I don't want almost like this emo-toned Batman. No offense, because I like Robert Pattinson's Batman, but I didn't think that'd be a good take for this Moon Knight. Once I was again in Dom's camp here. I mean, when I saw Mark come in and I saw how they were playing Mark, I instantly understood what they were doing.
That's when I got hooked. Yeah.
And that's where I got hooked too. And I was like, okay, with Mark's tone and Steven's kind of doofiest inexperience, they're going to come together and work out well throughout the season, I think. And more importantly than just, you know, Steven's character from this point of view being fixed up, I mean, Mark is pretty fucking cool so far. So I'm just really looking forward to this. I got to say that one of the things I love in this, the CGI, the animation work, is really good, I think. Yeah. I like it a lot.
The Moon Deity is fucking sick.
It's a visually good show. I'm not going to deny that either. It's visually good.
It looks pretty damn beautiful. Everything about this has been some CGI work. I've been really happy with the way that they play it off. It's one of those things kind of like Sonic, I want to say, where it's like they could have really fucked some stuff up here, the way that things looked. Like the editing team, the CGI team, the way they made things look, they could have just barely fucked up one thing and it would have made it look stupid, but I think they played it off really good so far. Seeing Moon Knight come in at the end there, full costume, was freaking great, and I'm super stoked for this next week. I think
his eyes
crazy as well.
Yeah, the very cool look. Yeah, if I may, really quick, Jose, you know, I'll explain it this way. Maybe I don't know if you've seen the movie yet, Dave, but I know Jose has, so this is why I'm telling him specifically, is because my viewing experience with this episode was like watching Last Night in Soho, where you don't know what the fuck is going on, except the difference is I don't have the whole movie yet. You know what I mean?
That is true.
And that's kind of why I'm kind of lackluster, I think, compared to other people, which is what I'm saying. When I see next week, I suspect I'm going to love the show by episode 2.
And yeah,
I suspect that. Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna like episode 2 more than episode 1. I just really enjoyed, like, I really enjoyed the silly goofiness aspect that they used for Steven's character here. I guess just because I'm a goofy, immature person still at heart, and
that's fine.
And another thing I wanted to say too is I really liked the Finding Nemo references used in this movie.
Yeah,
or in this episode. Sorry,
I think strangely for me, I think that's where I would counter, though, is part of those types of things I didn't like, is where like I found that stuff to be like a little overly campy. Like like one of the things I'll point out, I just thought this is the worst scene in the movie. The ice cream truck did not need to be in that movie. Or in the show, I'm sorry, the episode.
Yeah, episode.
The ice cream truck scene I thought was dumb. I thought it was corny. I thought it was overly cheesy. There are things like that they threw in there that I'm like, oh, come on.
Do you think they're going to stick with that, though? Because
I think they're going to
ditch
it.
The point of them doing that is, well, and I think it was intended to happen to be ditched. I think the point is that this is not year 2 Batman. I think it's supposed to be, you see Steven in his normal
I get that.
life. And you're supposed to be that way because he doesn't know that Mark exists at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I thought they built all this to be doofy in the first episode because it really is coming into like he doesn't really know, and then he's absolutely dropped on his ass in this episode.
Which again is why I still, concede this is a good first episode. I'm not saying it's
better than WandaVision, where it's not even a funny sitcom and there's no real mystery.
It's one of their better pilots. I will give you that. I guess like thinking back on it, like I like the pilot of WandaVision. I'll admit it. Like I thought the style was cool. Like I just enjoyed it. But
for me, it wasn't funny. Like I do like sitcoms from every decade. So what killed me with WandaVision is it wasn't a funny sitcom. There wasn't really anything storyline going on. But then again, by the end of WandaVision, I absolutely loved it. Right. So none of that was relevant, which is why I say I'm scared with this one because I love the pilot of Loki, the universe that they were in, Owen Wilson coming in. It was very interesting world building, and then that one tanked for me. So I'm kind of worried in this one. I hope they play it right the way I think they're playing it. And if so, I think we're gonna love it.
Most of the Disney Plus shows, mind you, and I've been overall a fan of them. I have been lackluster on the pilots though for most of them, and so this means nothing. The fact that I say it's good is actually a good thing.
I've liked 3 of the 5 pilots from these shows so far. I did not like the WandaVision and the Falcon pilots, but I didn't
like the Falcon one.
I liked the Loki, Hawkeye, and this pilot. So
I was okay with the Hawkeye one. I thought it was fine. Which is worse than good, so we're off to a good start already. With the and I ended up liking Hawkeye overall. And
same.
Yeah, and the same with Loki. I thought was probably about on the same level that I give this, and I really enjoyed Loki. So anyway, my point is like I liked the pilot. I liked this pilot episode. I think it's a good episode. I just don't think it was a great episode. And I do, to your initial question, Dave, I think they're gonna ditch the humor personally. Like not entirely. It's Marvel, it's gonna have it. I'm not saying I
figured they just went heavy for the entertainment value of the first episode because again, I don't think they wanted to bore people in with a WandaVision. Very technical, straightforward, opening. Or more importantly, that'd be more like actually Falcon and Winter Soldier, where it's just too much plot, not enough, entertainment value.
It's almost a little bit more like for me too, like because I am so intrigued by the end of this goddamn thing. So I think for me, like it's a little bit more of like I'm almost reserving my opinion to see more. That's a little bit more of what it's like. While I am intrigued and they hooked me, I'm kind of waiting to see more to really appreciate this episode because I want to see how this and a second episode kind of play together in conjunction to one another, because I think that the second episode will enhance this upon a rewatch, and I am going to watch this one again because I think it's necessary, because you really don't know what the fuck's going on for a lot of it, and I think it's necessary to watch it again. But that said, man, if Ethan Hawke is gonna give this kind of performance, holy shit, man, they could do some. It's got potential. I would say that like. Already. This is the best way I'll describe it. While this is not the best thing I've seen out of Marvel by any means or anywhere close, and I think that, this maybe could have been better for me, and there was some things that are stupid and silly, and I would say that of all the shows, I think this has the most potential by the time I get to the end of it. So I would say that the potential of it is... I'm not putting my expectations incredibly high, but I think it so far has the most potential with the resources that are there. But that doesn't mean that I love this episode. I liked this episode. I thought it was a good episode, but I did not love the episode. I wanted to love the episode, and I guess maybe for me, because the trailer was so good in my opinion, that maybe I set my expectations a little high for it, and just didn't really go along for the ride, which is why I think I need to watch it again. But yeah, I'm glad other people are as high on it as they are, because man, did I want to be. And I'm intrigued though. I think the second episode's going to bring me back. But yeah, keep going, guys. What else you got on this? I mean, you could talk openly about it. So.
I mean, I think you hit it pretty good when you said that they got some of the best potential here in terms of, I think their casting has been great. I think, how they've been playing the characters so far has been great. Ethan Hawke's been great. Oscar Isaac has been great outside of the doofus. Just him even playing through the Mark and his interaction with Mark has been killer. I think this has got a lot of potential in terms of, with WandaVision, Loki, you understand the character really well already.
It's true.
I mean, this we don't really understand what's going on.
And that's a good
most
point.
People don't even know who Moon Knight is.
Exactly.
Most people don't know the first thing about him. Most people right now thinks that he's purely a British dude. So
I'm somewhat familiar, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. From what I gathered from this, is that they really are, because there have been so many iterations of the Moon Knight character, they really are just trying to bring in an amalgamation of everything that's been through Moon Knight and try to combine it into what. That's what I was gathering from
trying to bring together
knowledge.
some of the best pieces.
Yeah,
that's what it appears to be. Is they're bringing together the pieces. There's a lot of different stuff out there. It almost gets to like Star Wars expanded universe, where it's like, shit, there was so much going on here. So it looks like they're bringing in all the best characteristics of them. With Moon Knight, again, as a huge fan, there's not much to fuck up on it. Like, he's a pretty I don't want to say straightforward, but he's a pretty like foolproof character. I mean, I think they're really going to pull this through. And the other way that I will say that they can fail it is if they do continue the doofus stuff to the extreme all the way through and try to do some sort of Venom dichotomy. Again, I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they're dumb enough to do that. I think they will shoot him straight, and Mark's going to come in a lot more than Steven will in the future, which will be nice.
For sure.
And then working together in a meaningful way and actually changing Steven, giving him confidence and changing who he is in a good way. And they'll cut out a lot of the doofiness. And I think more importantly, we saw a good shining of some action of this. I don't think they gave it all away, but I think we are going to get some epic fights.
And that's another thing too. While I think the ending is what hooked me, it's not because there was action to it. Like, so don't anybody get me wrong there. Like, I don't mind a show that's just taking it easy in the beginning. I actually think that's the best way to go about it, is to build slowly into it. I think what intrigues me is the fact that now once we're into Mark, and also the horror elements that started to come in, I thought was very impressive. Getting there toward the end, but once we started to see Mark come out, it's like, I'm okay with there being a doofus Steven now, like that was what hooks me, it's like, now that we see Mark, he doesn't necessarily need to be a badass, but it's just one of those parts of the personality. It's like, well, I just want to explore that and analyze that more and figure that out a lot more, and that's what intrigues me, is the personality itself, not the fact that he's sitting there beating on somebody, although that was badass as well. I love that. That was a dope ending, and like, so there are things I loved about this episode, but unfortunately, to pull the balance downward, I guess there were things I also really did not like, and so like,
it threw you off a little bit,
but for the most part, positive overall, and it's a good episode. Jose, do you have anything to add?
No, you guys basically nailed it all. I mean, I just can't wait to see what this show has to bring. Like you said, I think it has the most potential of all the shows.
I think so.
And I'm just ready to see what
to me, it's the best opening, I think.
100%.
Other than maybe Loki, because I mean, Loki really did have like almost like their world building for the first episode of Loki, him being brought in. The what is it, the TVA? Yeah. I mean, that was an excellent set that they put together with all that name
100%,
building. Loki dealing with bureaucracy is always going to be a 10 out of 10 in my book. That's hilarious.
And I think
outside of that, that's one of the best openings I think I've seen that has intrigued people and poked their interest. So I think they got this one down pretty foolproof. And I don't know, maybe Marvel just saw the way I talked about Peacemaker and decided that they just wanted to win me back. Maybe they're like, you know what? Fuck it. David's not liking us right now. Let's knock out his favorite Moon Knight. Maybe. Let's kill it.
They did it for you.
And look, we're going to be seeing more of the TVA 2, not only in the Loki season 2, because that's been confirmed, but also in what's it called? In the Ant-Man 3. That's going to be released as well, because
I would bet they jump in Doctor Strange also. I would almost bet that you'd see him there. Man.
So I mean, in terms of world building, the Loki show has definitely built a lot to go off of. So, and I think this Moon Knight show has the potential to do the same. So I'm ready to see what I honestly
That's a
possibly
good environment,
I
too.
think that there's possibly a Deadpool a possibility with this show, if I'm being honest, because in the comics they were fighting partners. So I feel like there might be some potential here for, like, I don't know, like the finale, like an end credit scene with Deadpool or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I think that could be cool.
Well, let me throw out one more positive about this episode, though, that I think I'm completely glazing over here, and I think it's worth mentioning. One of the biggest positives, I think, for me, and I think what's really going to keep me going too, is while Marvel definitely, to me, they concede to some of their bad habits in this. It's still original. It feels original. The originality of this, I think, is going to keep me in too. I would say that, at least, at the very least. I mean, there's plenty of times where I've seen a movie that I hated, and I didn't hate this, mind you, but there's times where I see a movie that I hated, and I'm like, well, at least it was original, like, I'll give it that. And that's a positive aspect that you got to give something, regardless of how you feel about it. And to me, that's something I wanted to point out here, because it is always, I'm always going to take the originality off of something. And when I say original, I understand it's adapted from things to a degree, but I'm saying original in terms of, like, this is clearly, we're dealing with a different type of story in the MCU.
They're not going with textbook Marvel here.
Yeah.
They're straying away.
Yeah.
Here. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's got some of their bad habits, in my opinion, but for the most part, they're telling a new story, and I'm always into the new shit. It's like when Ant-Man came out. Well, yeah, I was super into that. It was something different, or whatever. So anytime they're dealing with something new, Shang-Chi for me, love that movie. But anyway, but yeah, guys, look, that's gonna wrap it up here today. We went pretty long today, folks, with lots to talk about, though. And Jose said this is gonna be a short episode before we start here. Look, guys, thank you. Really quick too, because we're already at 2.5 hours. Might as well just go ahead and say this. I did want to talk to my boys here and just say, proud of us, because I think we've proven time and time again we could talk about some difficult shit and have a real civil conversation about it, and that's not something a lot of people are doing right now. So I think it's great that, and so I want to thank you both, honestly, for just being able to come in and bring that to the table.
Of course, anytime. I mean, it's something that you have to learn eventually throughout in your lifetime, and patience, basically, and the ability to not go too far and take shit too serious, kind of just have civil conversations with friends, whether you agree with them or not. That's the point. People have their own opinions, and that's what conversations are for. They're to state your opinion and talk about it. So
and from no offense to you guys, but from someone who's generally, my point of view is the one that's ostracized and most people don't agree with or like very much, I appreciate that I could really disagree with you guys, and you guys go on to be okay. We could all put in our 2 cents and actually understand each other by the end of the day. And you converted Jose to like The Last Jedi because you're an evil fucking person, but that's okay. I'll win him back. And at the end of the day, we can all be friends about it. And listen, celebrities out there, stop hitting people and go sign some freaking contracts. You're making my job difficult. God damn it. Stop hitting people and judging women. And go start TV shows and movies, damn it. Stop screwing with my life.
Exactly. All right, guys, look, we're gonna get the hell out of here. I want to thank my panelists again, and they're always great every week. And guys, please go on the Spotify if you're not there already. It'll be in the link in the description below. And if you're already on Spotify, head over to YouTube once again, youtube.com/c/Anorex. Make sure you do that. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share this with your friends, leave feedback in the comment section, and be civil. I know we're talking about difficult shit, but we just showed you can have civil conversations, so make sure you do that. Before we go, Dave, where can people find you?
You can find me on Snapchat and Instagram at BKingDavid, BKING. That's right, like Burger King for short. David at Snapchat and Instagram.
All right, and Jose, where can people find you?
You guys can find me at Type 1 Latino, all lowercase, all together, on all socials and stereo. Yeah, make sure you guys go follow those gentlemen for sure. And thank you again, guys. You guys can follow me on Twitter at Dom_Martino_, on Instagram, Dom_Martino_official. Hey, might have been a dark day, but I got that right. Anyway, you guys can also follow the Anorex pages, Anorex Official, on both Twitter and Instagram. I want to thank you again. This has been a lot of fun. We'll talk to you guys later.